Are we working? We are working. Hey guys, Sean here, and welcome to the race reaction for the 2026 Belgian Grand Prix. How do we all feel about that one? Just don't worry, Jonty will be here. I'm going to set him up in a second. I was waiting for him to pop into the chat on Discord, and I'll get him sorted. But yeah, initial reactions. I've put a poll in the chat, as I always do. I would have voted for okay. I think it was a race that maybe had potential to be brilliant and ended up being a bit meh in the end. But I can't sit here and lie that I'm unhappy with that podium. That swap Leclerc and Antonelli, and that's about as perfect as it gets for Sean, isn't it? When it comes to the podium. So yeah, not a classic Spa race, but I think engrossing is a good word. So we'll see how we go. CPB saying no sound. I hope that's not the case. Let me know in chat if it... I mean, everything seems to be working my end. Just going to go and see if I get Jonty set up as well now. So I'm a little bit... Usually I set these off at 4, so I've probably caught him out a bit, but it's okay. I'll hop in there now and get him all set up if I can. I need to get my video sorted as well. I'll need to turn his audio on when we get there. It's, yeah, Sean being slow today, but we will get there. We will get there. It's okay. Jonty's laughing at me already. Doesn't
there is sound.
Doesn't take him long. There is sound apparently, so that's okay. So Jonty, hopefully this is working. Okay, there he is. You've zoomed in, mate. You're closer than I was expecting there. You surprised me.
Yes.
Made me jump a little bit.
Still a bit fuzzy though. I think it's because you're blowing up.
Possibly. I'll tweak that as we go and see if I can get that improved at all, but it's not the end of the world, mate. Yeah. It's our wonderful voices they're here for, honest. I'll come to chat in a minute and do some shout outs. So say hi in chat. Thank you to Farting Golf Balls. I'll get to that in a second, mate, as well. I just said there, Jonty, to me, that race felt like it was going to build up to be classic Spa. We had the contact on the first lap, spots of rain on the camera, and I thought, oh, hang on a minute, here it comes. We're going to love this later. And then it all went a little bit, and I think without that virtual safety car that gave Charles the lead, I'm not convinced that would have been particularly great. But I think it was okay. And engrossing, I think I said at one point. So
yeah, that's probably right, to be honest. The spots on the cameras was not helping, just edging everyone watching. Because it wasn't just the odd one, though. It was on the onboard cameras, loads of different corners. It's like, oh, come on. Just enough to make it tricky. You don't need them to stop, just enough to make it, oh, got to back off for the corner, but it never happened.
It's all we wanted, wasn't it?
Not fair.
Yeah, we're sulking, really. We do. I've just adjusted you a bit there, mate. It might be better. I think what we'll do in the summer break, Jonty, is we will sit down and see if we can work out the fuzziness, because you said before in messages you're a bit annoyed by it because it's clean everywhere else. So we'll sort it out then.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter. But yeah, no, I tend to agree with that. And Spa and rain, they go together hand in hand, and you kind of want it, and it doesn't always come that way. I think a good first part of the race went a bit flat, came alive a bit, and then fell away. But I'm going to file that under my classic line. It's not one I'm going to rush to go watch again, really. But it was okay. Let's see who's in chat. J Webb, hey J Webb, says absolutely terrible race, completely manufactured fight for first, caused by pointless VSCs. Kaori says it was okay. Good try by Charles. Nice race for Isack. Unfortunate for Lewis, but def a snoozer. Lena says race direction felt completely incompetent today. Spent way too much time complaining about it on Blue Sky. Not happy. I've not been on Blue Sky yet, so I'll go find you on there, Lena, and see what you're saying. But probably the same complaints we're going to have. Martha says I checked out quite quickly and had the tab open with the race. Wasn't a thriller. Hey, Martha. Fud says I have read the Leclerc decision. I've got it open here, mate. We'll go through it. Hard disagree. Basically, quote, could never have made the overtake, so shouldn't have been there. We'll get on to that, I promise. Corner Wookie disagrees with the virtual safety cars being pointless, saying there were marshals on track. It's not pointless to avoid people being flattened, which I think is a reasonable opinion. I think that's fair, Kieran. Michael says, good morning, Sean and chat. Hey, Michael. Professional Moron says, not the best race, but it was better than Spa 99 and Spa 2002. True story. Those were bad races. I remember Spa 99 being a waste of everyone's time, really, but yeah, not kind of 2002.
Yeah, but how much of that was because the one before was Spa 98?
True. Yeah. Hard to top that. Connell says that Lando got so lucky considering his pace today. CPB says meh, was heating my Chinese leftovers midway through the race. Fair enough. Craig says about as boring as Sean's haircut. Hey, I cut it yesterday. What's left of it, all right, round the sides. I don't bother with the top because there's nothing there. It's just fuzz. Rude. But I love you really, Craig. It's fine. Thank you to Golf Balls for your... yeah, you've got enough. I could borrow some for your face and I still have more than I've got now. Golf Ball says, this isn't a reaction. This is a Belgian waffle. Absolutely, mate. Thank you for your continued support as well and for your super chat. And I'll do some hellos quickly so we can get on to the reaction. Hey to Neelish, to Illogical 91 says, sound is good. Thank you. So, hey to Ash, to the Scran Station, to Sab Mariners fan. Audi got points. Yes, Pascal, I'll be happy. Hey to Gingerfest. And I think that's just about everybody in chat we've got to. There. Sorry for not read your comments all out because we'll be here all day because I think you've got a lot to say as we have. But we will start as we always do. I think this will be one of the quicker run-throughs, but we'll start with race winner Kimi Antonelli. Again, his 6th win of the season, I think, Jonty, incredibly, at, 12 years old, which is absolutely ridiculous. He seemed... the start of the race, he got away well. Was sort of robbed by Verstappen on the entry to Eau Rouge, which is a surprising move given the run down the Kemmel Straight. Got back through. Didn't disappear as I feared he might, but he did seem to be managing the pace and the race quite nicely there, keeping everybody behind him out of overtake mode. Looked to have it all under control. And then, of course, we got the VSC, which allowed Ferrari to make their stops and put Leclerc in the lead. And that made it interesting, but there did feel once Kimi started to bring that gap down, like there was an air of inevitability that he was going to get past Charles Leclerc. So if we ignore the twists and turns of your typical safety car pit stops, I think probably today a fair result that Kimi's won that, because I think he's been absolutely on it all weekend and a fantastic drive. But I think more critically, 50 points clear of George Russell now. Ouch. Not for Kimi. Great for Kimi. Ouch for George.
Yeah, very ouch for George. I mean, I know we're still only... Hang on, what race was that? 12?
10.
10?
Yes.
There were 12 to go.
Well, provisionally 12. Possibly 13,
Yeah.
Possibly 10.
10. Yeah, but even at this, that's a huge lead at this stage. And Kimi doesn't look like making a mistake anytime soon. I mean, is it too early to call the championship done? We did it last year 3 times.
Yeah. Only thing I would say is, I mean, Kimi was 53 points clear of George at one point, and that came down to 25 quite quickly, so things can turn. But I'm always, as you've mentioned it there, I'll mention it again, I'm always quite wary now about calling the title too early, given that Max Verstappen was 100-odd points behind Oscar Piastri after Zandvoort last year, and he finished second in the championship to Norris, and Piastri ended up third. So if it can swing that quickly, it can swing that quickly anytime, can't it?
Yeah, I think the big difference is that this year it's been mechanical issues causing dramas. Yeah, you have to assume that's going to drop off as the year carries on. There certainly hasn't been as many in the last couple of races, across the field at least. Other than the usual brakes and suspension for Cadillac and Aston being Aston.
Aston being Aston is about the only way to sort their season. But yeah, great drive for Kimi today. I don't think... Nothing really to say about the overtake. He breezed past, didn't he, to take the lead with 10 to go. Pretty comfortable on Leclerc. A bit ballsy given some of Leclerc's driving earlier in the race, but he still managed to get the move done. But yeah, I think Kimi can be very happy. And he just, you know, I think mistakes will come and he will have his own bad luck. But he has had his own bad luck this season. You know, that the damage at Silverstone, that is, you could argue, almost fluke. What happened there? Everybody else is running over that curb fine, and then just one time he goes over it, it breaks something. His engine failing or his car issues when he was just got past George in Barcelona. So he's had his bad luck, but he just seems to bounce back, whereas George doesn't bounce back, and that's the problem at the moment. So I don't know what's going on with Russell, just as a wider point. We did talk about it briefly in qualifying yesterday. We were sort of talking about, is it a mentality thing? But it sounds like there is a genuine issue with his car, in that he's not getting the speed down the straights, because that is what, by his own admission, kind of cost him today, getting swallowed up down the Kemmel Straight on the first lap.
Yeah, and I haven't seen a good explanation for that. The only thing I can think of is like he used all his boost up to La Source and down from it, and then had nothing left. But even then, it seemed like too much of a speed difference between them.
Yeah,
for it to just be that. So, is he getting the setup wrong? I don't know.
And with it, they're not really. I suppose Mercedes won't say too much. They don't want to give much away, do they? But they're not really. There seems to be a lot of mixed communication there. I think George was told after quali yesterday he couldn't have done any more, but then we're hearing that he's got an issue. So I don't know what's going on there, but I mean, he got down to turn 5, didn't he? Swallowed up. Collision with Lewis Hamilton. Lewis understeered in the wake of another car, got it wrong, hit George Russell. George said afterwards to the media in the pen, got swallowed up down the straight. Incident was a racing incident. I tend to agree. Maybe I could have gone wider. He could have braked more. Incident wouldn't have happened had I had speed down the straight. So he's very much pointing to that issue. But I know we were chatting during the race, Jonty, weren't we? We're a little bit surprised by, we'll talk about Charles in a bit, but a little bit surprised about the decisions by the stewards. I think from the angles we saw and the incident, yes, you can blame Lewis for that, but I think on a first lap with everything going on, that's a racing incident. I don't think it's deliberate. But what I have done is got the stewards thing, and this sort of, I think we've said before on the channel, and
I've read it. It makes no sense.
It's a bit. It's
certainly on Charles' one.
The Hamilton one contradicts itself a little bit. We had this last week. So they say I won't read the whole thing. Says the car 44 Hamilton experienced understeer and despite attempting to avoid car 63 by applying corrective steering, made contact with the right hand side of car 63 with his left front wheel. Stewards determined that Russell remained within the available racing room and that the collision was caused by Hamilton being unable to maintain sufficient separation. The stewards do recognise several mitigating circumstances. Hamilton acknowledged Russell was there, attempted to leave appropriate racing room and made a genuine attempt to avoid contact. Collision resulted from a loss of front end grip rather than from an aggressive or deliberate manoeuvre. I mean, obviously. In addition, the incident occurred on the opening lap where reduced grip and compressed racing conditions are recognised. For these reasons, while car 44 was wholly at fault for the collision, stewards consider a 5-second time penalty rather than the standard 10 is the appropriate penalty in accordance with FIA penalty guidelines. So you said it in the message, I've said it before about other incidents. It's one of those where he's given a penalty and you kind of go, don't really agree, but fair enough. If it's not given, you go, it's fair enough. So I'm not angry at that for Hamilton. Yeah. I think it's probably you could see why the penalty's given, but given he was given a lesser penalty, it's less annoying, if that makes sense, because they could have given 10. They went with 5 because they've used those mitigating circumstances to cut that penalty in half, which I think is fair. And the fact as well, Jonty, George Russell, we know what he's like when he starts to get mardy and pointing the finger. Even he came out and said, it's a racing incident. I could have left more room. Lewis could have avoided the contact. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But can you agree with the steward's decision on that one? We're not talking about the other one just yet.
Yeah. It like you said, it's yes and no. Giving it, yeah, that's fair. Not giving it, yeah, that's fair. It's right on the line. And I think it's a case of sort of Russell being under a bit of pressure. I'm not blaming him. He's kind of made a rod for his own back by just being a little bit too defensive. He had like 2.5 cars widths on the outside. And yes, he left a car's width on the inside, which is all that he has to. You know, he left enough room. But he could have left a ton more and made sure no one was hitting him. I mean, the analogy that came into my head was like, he's gone down in the penalty box to get a penalty, rightly so, but then accidentally sprained his ankle and gone off anyway. Do you know what I mean?
You call him Jordan Henderson.
He was completely fair and right in what he was doing, but has kind of ended up out result of it. You know, just be a little bit more cautious. It's lap 1. Everyone's on cold tyres. That stuff happens all the time. Usually you see most drivers just giving a bit more space, just in case. And that was, he left exactly car's width. No more. And because Lewis did actually catch it, but he was already into the side of George by the time he caught it. Like one foot more, no contact. And obviously, this is all hindsight. We're looking from the outside. We're not doing 140 miles an hour through a chicane with cars all around us. You know, you don't think that quickly. I mean, they think a lot quicker, but you get the point I'm making.
Yeah, I do. I don't want to try and get in George's head, but do you think, as well, a little bit of desperation's the wrong word, frustration maybe, losing those positions down the straight, knowing he's got a car issue, so he's gone in hard. Yeah. He wants to make sure he doesn't lose too many more places, and that's all kind of come to a head, maybe?
Yeah, just all those things sort of combining, and unfortunately he lost out.
It's
because especially when he got to the end of the straight after being swallowed up and then suddenly had all this space to go around people, it must be like a rush of, oh, yes, I've got some of that back. It's going to be mine. And they're still scrapping behind you.
I've got that back. It's mine. Oh, thank God I've got a 7-time world champion. Oh, balls. That kind of thing. Yeah, no, it's a shame. It's a shame for George. But I do, to me, that's a 1 lap turn 5 Spa incident, or lap 1 turn 5 Spa. How many times do we see? Was Hamilton airborne through there at one point with Alonso one year in an Alpine, wasn't he? Hamilton up like that almost.
Yeah, 23, 22.
It happens, doesn't it? The two Mercedes collided there in 14, sorry.
16.
Yeah. It was one of the two. Probably 16 when it was getting really tetchy.
I think they did it in both, actually.
Yeah.
No, they did it in both. Yeah, it happens there all the time. And it happens in La Source all the time. And it happens at the bus stop all the time. You know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, and he was unlucky.
Nothing really to add to. I will just read this from Kaori. Says Toto in Sky interview loosely corroborated that there's an issue that they are working on, but then he low-key dismissed the DNF as it could have happened at any position, and then saying, I mean, George left enough room. Yeah, nobody's disputing that George didn't leave enough room. I don't want to get back into the whole out of control argument. Nobody said that in the thing, but it's when we had it with Piastri. Was it last year at Brazil when people were like, oh, it was out of control at turn one? It wasn't out of control. He'd locked up. Yes, by the definition, you could argue that, but wasn't fully in control rather than doing something dangerous. But just sorry for George, but at the same time, my three drivers and one of my we were 1, 2, and 3, so I can't really complain too much about that in terms of the championship. Antonelli now has Hamilton as his closest challenger again, but just on Kimi before we roll on, Jonty, anything you want to say? I mean, again, impressive drive, and I think Sky actually made a really good point mentality wise. 6 races ago, VSC, Leclerc takes the lead. We might have heard more from Antonelli on the radio getting frustrated, whereas today, very calm, maybe helped by the fact that you could argue his main championship rival was out of the race, but nice and calm, got on with it, head down, got the place back, took the win that he deserved.
On that point, I think it's, with that many races further down the line, I think he's realised, hang on, I don't need to be all wound up and panicky because I know I've got the car to just go and take it back. It's not that much pressure. I've just got to work a little bit harder than I usually would.
Yeah, I've got to do something today. Damn it. He just impresses me so much. And I don't like to be patronising. We go, 19 years old, he impresses. He just does. And I said yesterday, I think early days still. It is only his second season, but it does feel like we're watching. I don't know how much of this is skewed by recency bias. It might be, but I was impressed with him the back end of last year as well. But it feels like we're watching something really special here. So, and I think Sky made the point. Imagine where he'd be now, ifs and buts and all that, and if my grandmother had wheels, etc. Where he'd be without that issue in Barcelona and the damage in Silverstone. The title would be gone. He'd be gone. We'd be sat here now going, titles won. But that's not how it works, is it?
Yeah, because without those two, he'd be 83 points ahead.
He'd have been 3 or 4 better off than Russell in Spain, wouldn't he, in Barcelona? And then he would have possibly won Silverstone, but at least second place in that one. So you'd be looking at another 21 points.
Well over 75-ish.
Yeah, but then counterpoint, if George hadn't had his issues, we wouldn't be here, would we? So that's
exactly.
But well done to Kimi once again. Charles Leclerc P2, Lewis Hamilton P4 for Ferrari. Charles drove, I think, very well today for the most part. Managed to get up to P2 at turn 5 with great speed down the straight, and he did avoid any drama that was around him. But then on lap 8, Oscar Piastri gets a run at him down the Kemmel Straight and kind of moves to the left. And as he's sort of on the left-hand side, all the way down that straight pretty much, Charles is just edging to the left. He seems to be quite keen to get over there. And there was the inevitable contact at turn 5, and it just looked like that was always going to happen. Damage to Piastri's floor. We'll talk about him a little bit later, but that resulted in the contact, which looked like, I think Martin Brundle said it, Crofty said it, we said it in messages, an absolute slam dunk penalty. But again, the stewards have their decision now, and what they've said is Piastri moved to overtake Leclerc on the outside. Piastri had some overlap on Leclerc, but the front axle of Piastri was not ahead of the axle of Leclerc, and there was no possibility of Piastri completing an overtake from that position. So pack up and go home, lads. No point trying. Leclerc did not deliberately crowd Piastri off the edge of the track. Leclerc followed the racing line before the entry to turn 5 by moving slightly to the left, but didn't crowd Piastri, but did move slightly to the left to open up for turn 5, and side-by-side contact occurred between the two drivers. The stewards determined no further action.
It's nonsense.
the bit about
contradicts itself twice.
The bit about the axle thing not being fully alongside, I get their argument there, but what are they saying? Piastri shouldn't try. They're saying that Charles Leclerc didn't crowd him, but did move to the left, which was squeezing and all the way down the straight. And if you're new to the channel, I'm a Ferrari fan. I'll do anything to defend that bloody team and Charles Leclerc. But to me, that is a more. If Lewis Hamilton's was a 5 second, Charles was at least a 5 second for me. That could have been. I know stewards don't look at potential outcomes, they look at what happened, but that could have been, as you put it again in messages, Jonty, an airplane crash or an aeroplane crash. Sorry, I'm English.
Fuds has got the point. The whole axle being alongside and what have you doesn't apply, because that's for at the apex of a corner for deciding who's got room on the exit. So that they've literally just decided that these other rules are going to apply in this situation when they don't.
I never have. Thinking about it.
And then contradicting, saying, like, he didn't deliberately crowd him off. It says, he then steered slightly left. What, did he accidentally take the racing line? If he didn't deliberately crowd into Piastri, then clearly he accidentally went left to take the racing line. That's the only way you can interpret those words. It's utter nonsense. Like, Piastri he's got his wheels literally touching the white line, which is straight. And they weren't touching. And then they got to the braking zone and they touched. Only one of those cars has moved. You penalise the car that's moved. It's that simple. But I've only just now remembered we've had an identical incident to this. I think 2009, 10, maybe 11. And I think it was Hamilton and Maldonado. That's what I've got in my head. It might be someone different, where one veered over and they caused contact. It was a bigger incident, but it was the same thing. And it was all the argument of, did he move over? Oh, he was just retaking the racing line. It's like, yeah, but he can't if there's a car there. You can't just... Again, another word that they use in their other rules for at the apex, a car cannot simply disappear. What's Oscar going to do there? He doesn't know Leclerc's going to turn left into him.
I mean, first of all, it sounds like something Maldonado would do, so I'm going to go with you on Maldonado there. I can't think of the incident, but yeah, no, it does sound like a Maldonado move, doesn't it? But yeah, just very straight. And the reason that's important, by the way, is if Leclerc was given a 5-second penalty, when he then pitted on the virtual safety car, he would have had to sit for 5 seconds, meaning they couldn't have double stacked with Lewis Hamilton as well. Because he would have lost even more time. So that's why that's such an important decision for this race. As it turns out, Max Verstappen may disagree, but he was 11 seconds back, so maybe not. But it wouldn't have changed much in the race because Leclerc would probably have still ended up second place. But it just threw that doubt in there because it made Antonelli have to work for it, which is fine. We want to see Kimi work if we don't want to run away with it. But I just don't think that's the right decision from the stewards, and that had a knock-on effect in the race and things like that. And I think it was Craig said something along the lines earlier. I might not be able to find it in chat, was basically saying that once again we're talking about stewards' decisions rather than the bloody racing, which is again it's just infuriating. But to be fair, and I feel like Craig's been watching a while, so he'll know. But at the same time, it's been the case for years in F1, particularly since that rule book's just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and nobody really knows what an apex is or where the apex is at any given track or what the rules are any given weekend. So it's one of those things that you're always going to get when you change your stewards every weekend, but we're not going to get into that. I think we should just have fixed paid stewards, but that's never going to happen. So, or not for now. But yeah, it's just frustrating. I understand that frustration as a fan. I want to talk about the racing, but also today, there's not a huge amount to talk about anyway, so these are going to dominate conversation. So it's frustrating. Superflax as well is frustrated by the virtual safety car, frustrated by the stewards' decisions. It was a very fortunate safety car for Ferrari. Now, again, if you're new, please don't take this entirely seriously. Me and Jonty love to pop a tinfoil hat on from now and from time to time and be a bit cheeky. I was like, suspiciously convenient safety car there for Ferrari, but it was, from what I could understand, the stewards or the marshals were collecting debris, but they were doing it in. They did 2 lots of virtual safety car to collect it rather than. I think the concern was it would interfere with the race, and it very nearly did. I don't know if that's true. That's what they were saying on Sky, so it's probably not true. But just these 2 virtual safety cars popped up out of nowhere and fell beautifully for Ferrari. So, I'm just saying. A little bit cheeky. But again, that double stack can't happen without Leclerc getting away with that. With no penalty. But I think he won driver of the day today. Do you agree with driver of the day for Charles Leclerc? Jonty, we'll get onto that properly later, but he's had contact. He's got away with one, I would argue. To me, that rules him out, but I can see why people enjoyed his race today because, I mean, second place, led for quite a while, drove well apart from those incidents. Great start.
No, I can't agree with him as driver of the day. I mean, I know it's the guy who won the race, but Antonelli had to work more for it.
Yeah.
Leclerc got the VSC in his favour. Antonelli had to fight back against that and was a bit out of position right at the start from all the start scuffle shenanigans, so he had to work a lot harder for it, even though it's a much better car and we should expect him to, but, it doesn't feel right. That him or Bortoleto? 8th for Audi. That's a result. That's a solid drive.
Oh, spoiler alert, it's Jonty's thinking for later.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I know we're going through him. Or there is another contender just for one reason, and we'll get to him.
We will get to him. We'll not keep going about the... Go on.
Yeah, just quickly. The Grand Station 2 Not Better 509. That's going to be a different name, I'm assuming, on your screen. It was 2011. It was Hamilton and Kobayashi.
Okay.
Not Maldonado.
I know which one you're talking about now, yeah.
Not far off, but close enough. It was the exact same thing, just had a much more severe outcome.
Yeah. Much more severe. Is that the comment there? He was temporarily unconscious, wasn't he, from the impact with the barrier? So, yeah. Nasty one, that one. But we'll not... As I say, we'll not dwell on the stewards too much as we move on to Lewis Hamilton. We've sort of already talked about this one. We're both sort of saying... penalty, fine, not a penalty, fine. But if I was a steward, I would have waved that away as a first lap racing incident. George Russell fans will now come and tell me off. Kaori might disagree and tell me off as well. But that's my view. But that we've talked about the Russell incident. Shame for Russell, shame for Hamilton in some ways, but it just felt like a bit of a first lap thing. But I suppose if you eliminate a car, the stewards maybe feel they have to do something. Maybe. I don't know. But Karun Chandok said apparently he had damage to the front wing and the barge board. I don't think we call them a barge board anymore. That's what Karun said. Lewis then was asked on the radio, what lap is it? They said lap 18. I thought he was going to say, is that it? But he didn't. He said, what the hell? I told you what strategy I wanted to do. You've just put me out with everyone else now, questioning Ferrari strategy. Fortunately for him, the virtual safety car came out. They did the double stack. Very nicely done, apart from one tiny issue, and that was the moment where he ran over his mechanic. All were okay. He has been noted for an unsafe release, and that will be investigated after the race. Now, Sky are pretty adamant that's going to be a sporting penalty. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, but to me, if they're judging that as a sporting penalty for unsafe release, that is, you've run over your mechanic, 100% an unsafe release. So why are we waiting till after the race? Which makes me wonder if they're going to try and see if there's a mechanism that can fine the team rather than penalise the driver. Don't forget as well, we do have precedent for fines in races for unsafe releases. Do you remember Charles Leclerc at Hockenheim? That caused quite the stir, didn't it? Mm-hmm. Quite the stir at the time. Felt quite controversial, but yeah, so maybe they'll go with a fine if they can, but...
what was the outcome of Kimi in Bahrain?
Kimi in Bahrain...
Which snapped the mechanic's leg in half.
Yes, yeah.
I can't actually remember what happened with that. Or if that wasn't deemed as an unsafe release or what, I don't know.
I can't think back to it.
I genuinely can't remember.
No.
It's been a while.
But yeah, we'll see. I'm not saying there are mechanisms in the regulations. I haven't got time to sit and read them between the race finishing and the stream, and I'm not going to do it now. But I do wonder if they might try and just penalise the team with a fine if they can. But it could be a sporting penalty, which could be anything from a 5-second to a drive-through. So it could well be Lewis Hamilton could end up out the points. Yeah, or where is he? He's 17 off the lead. I might just scrape into the points, actually.
Oh, yeah, there's 59 seconds back to Colapinto.
Yeah, he'd be fine, but he wouldn't be fourth, is the point. So we'll see. If it comes through and we're live, I will run through it with you all, but we'll wait and see. You know how the stewards like to take 6 months to make one decision and usually arrive at the wrong one. But, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, that damage maybe affecting Hamilton was pushing towards the end to try and get Verstappen... or not Verstappen, to get Piastri. Eventually got past Piastri. And just a bit of a... As a Ferrari fan, I think it's fair to say messy race for the Scuderia, but actually, if it stays second and fourth, that's actually a pretty good result as well. So they've got to be happy with that overall. But then they're Ferrari and they want to win, so I don't know. But yeah, that's... Or anything you want to say on Ferrari, Jonty?
Making the best of a bad situation. And you do wonder... Could Lewis have been further up because the result of the botched pit stop, he's saying he didn't get any input on the front wing that he wanted. So he was fighting that for the whole rest of the race. Which
had the knock-on effect with the mechanic, literally, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think Lewis went on green, though, didn't he? I think the replay seemed to show he went on green. So the signal was given that he could go. A driver is going to go when they see that light, and then he stopped after he hit the mechanic. So I don't think there's anything there. I don't think there's anything to blame Lewis Hamilton for, is my point, which is why I wonder if they're going to try and find the team if they can. But does that set a dangerous precedent, potentially, Jonty?
Yeah, it could do. Let's get the broken record out again. Bring back Lollipop Man. To this day, I hate the stupid light system.
So does Massa, mate.
It's always got that possibility for messing it up. It really, even now with how much they've refined it, there's still a possibility for messing it up. At least with the Lollipop Man, whose only job is to wait until everyone said yes, it's done.
I might be misremembering, but wasn't it the traffic lights that caused Massa to drive with a fuel hose in Singapore? Yes. So without traffic lights, he may well be world champion.
Yeah.
There you go.
But that's a really, really early implementation of them. I think weren't they banned after that for a short while? Or did Ferrari just elect to not use it anymore?
They just bought the guy out of retirement. It was the Lollipop Man, yeah. I don't know. I seem to recall lollipops was still a thing after that. So whether the teams were using both just to make sure. But yeah, it doesn't happen very often, though, to be fair.
No cost cap.
No.
Yeah, no cost cap. So Ferrari could do the lights, other teams, we've got to stick.
Let's talk about Red Bull, then we'll see what chat are saying about the top three, then we'll fly through everybody else. Max Verstappen, P3 today. As a Verstappen fan, I've said that a lot, as an Antonelli fan, as a Ferrari fan, as a Verstappen fan, I have mixed feelings. P3, given where Red Bull have been of late, feels like a really good result, and I think I'm happy with that, but also... he's lost a place, and I think I went into today hoping he'd challenge for the win. Didn't really work out. I think an interesting decision on the opening lap, which I think with hindsight was a mistake. Went for the lead at the entry of Eau Rouge rather than waiting for the run down the Kemmel Straight. It did catch Antonelli off guard. It caught Crofty off guard. It caught me off guard. I was watching George Russell battling the Ferraris in the background, and then they cut to the top of Radion to show the cars. Like, how the hell did Max get there? What's happened? But it was worth a go, I suppose, and maybe thinking outside the box rather than doing the move everyone expected. He thought he might be able to pull something off there. Didn't work. Was repassed in the end comfortably by Antonelli down the straight. Then it all kicked off behind, of course. Lap 6, he pretty much breezed past Leclerc on the Kemmel Straight for P2, and then was the first of the lead pack to pit on lap 18. Said on lap 23, I have no grip, just as he went through and set a purple middle sector. So that's his day of my tyres have gone. But yeah, ended up being a bit of a not anonymous race. but he was 9 seconds off Leclerc and 5 seconds clear of Hamilton. And his pace was fine. He just wasn't ever really in the fight for the win. So it's a bit mixed feelings today, Jonty, for Max. For me, anyway.
Yeah, he just didn't really have that much to do. I think the move at the start was actually quite a sensible attempt.
Yeah.
Because the Red Bulls have been monstering the middle sector. So whilst everyone's on slightly cold tyres, he's got the chassis for the twisty middle bit. You know, if he could just surprise Kimi enough to get ahead and into Le Con first, he maybe could have broken that 1 second and had a chance to stay ahead. I think it was a shot in the dark. Just shots are nothing on the pool table. If it goes in, it goes in. If it doesn't, you're not lost anything. So why not? I don't think he truly expected it to come off. But nothing ventured, nothing gained.
I mean, he seemed pretty full of beans in the cool down room, didn't he?
Yeah.
Joking with, was that the king of? No, who was that? Who was that in the cool down room with them? Stefano Domenicali was there. Surprised MBS wasn't there. Who was with them? I can't remember now. Somebody important. Somebody's gonna go. Hang on a minute, Sean. That's like the most important person in Belgium. Wake up. I can't remember, but yeah, he seemed quite full of it in there and quite happy. So probably quite content with the place today. But yeah, I see what you're saying. So get ahead at Eau Rouge, catch Kimi out. That might affect his run down the Kemmel Straight. Then build the gap in the middle sector to hang on as long as he can, sort of thing. King of Belgium. There we go. Apparently, so that he seemed quite full of beans. So, but yeah, no, I think I get what you're saying. It just sort of makes sense. It just was surprising because you generally, here comes Sebastian Vettel and all that, and the 4 cars. It's Spa. Let's just stop for a second.
Moments.
One of my favourite photos is that you've got Vettel. Here comes Sebastian Vettel. Then you've got Ocon and Perez either side. Oh, such a great photo, such a great moment. Then Ocon did the most un-Ocon thing ever and backed out of it. I think that could have been either one of the best overtakes ever or one of the biggest crashes we've seen at Spa since '98. So yeah, but I love the track. But yeah, no, that's where you expect the overtakes to come. But yeah, good for Verstappen. Might give him something to be happy about. He's been a little bit cheeky with his comments this weekend, trying not to be overly negative in case, as he put it, he gets shot by somebody outside the press conference door, but also still taking digs at it and saying it's like, you know, F3 power around parts of the track and things like that. So he's not happy, but I think content with P3 today, given his troubles. Isack Hadjar had a good race, really good race. Kind of started with the smart decision to make 2 stops under the safety car to go from the hards he started on to the mediums and straight onto the hards again and try to run them to the end. He didn't get them to the end. He did pit a little bit later on for another set of hards and ended up in a really good P6 from 21st on the grid. I mean, yeah, okay, fine. Safety cars, the extra pit stops in there, the virtual safety car, that's all helped him, but you've got to be in it to win it, and he didn't win it, but he got a cracking result there, Jonty, P6.
Yeah, really solid day from Hadjar. Especially with having to deal with a few issues. Didn't he have a new wing?
Possibly, yes.
Or was it just for tyres at the start?
I think it was just for tyres. I think what they thought was get rid of the mediums and then get back on hards, which Pirelli thought could run pretty much the whole race.
I thought he'd had a little bit of coming together with someone. I can't remember.
Ocon did. Well, I mean, Hadjar might have done. I might have missed that, but yeah.
Yeah, Ocon did. Sky's blue.
Rude.
Ocon had contact. Also, breaking news: fork found in kitchen. He's just been a mess this year. I'm sorry. I love Ocon, but he's fair game right at the moment. He's getting monstered by Bearman and just been all over the place. We'll get to that. But no, really solid race from Hadjar. Get all the way up there from where he started as well. I mean, it's the thing we usually say, you'd expect a car that quick to be right up there. I certainly didn't expect him to be ahead of Norris.
No. There was a point where I thought Norris was going to get the podium, but then he had a slow pit stop, didn't he?
Yeah.
But again, we'll get to that in a sec. But yeah, no, it's well-deserved from Hadjar. One of the drivers of the day, for sure. I try to think about the first lap. If anyone in chat knows, in fact, I'll let you say what you want to say, Johnson. I'll just have a look in chat and see if there's anything on the top 3 teams. Might be something in about Hadjar that we've missed. I feel like something
No,
happened that we've missed.
I was just going to reply to Kaori. They're JLab. Just cheap ones. Like 20 quid from online places. I don't like great big over-the-ear headphones. I like them to be light and not heavy on my head and not tight on my ears. And they're Bluetooth, so there you go. Got everything you want. And the sound's not awful. For what they are, which is surprising.
Until I start coming through them, and then you're like, oh, for God's sake, these are terrible. Why isn't there a mute button? I like my big over-the-ear ones because I've got long, flappy ears. So, yeah. Anyway, enough about Hadjar, apparently. I will say, again, very quickly while chat get their points in about the top 3 teams. I feel like TV direction was a bit cack again today. I said it to Stuart a couple of weeks ago. I've said it to him today in DMs. They're definitely over-relying on the picture-in-picture. I understand they're watching the fight for the lead, but in the close, when things were going on behind, the Lawson Lindblad stuff, no idea. We saw the Colapinto move, which was great, but why is that not the main picture? And yeah, all right, fine, Leclerc is 9/10 behind Antonelli, but he's not going to make a move in the middle sector, so let's go watch what other people are doing. They're relying too much on picture-in-picture, and we missed again. Once we get out of the top 4 teams, that's it. I've got nothing in notes because we barely saw anything. And I understand that they want to focus on the main contenders. They want to focus on the drivers that are going to get them all the social media engagement. But there are 22 drivers and 11 teams on the grid. Perez's suspension broke. Never saw anything of that. Didn't even see him coming to pits to retire. Yeah. That's ridiculous. So I will say that on the as a final point there, and it's just annoying.
No, I agree.
If an overtake's happening, cut the overtake.
With the 2 VSCs, we had one 5-second clip of a marshal running across some gravel. That was about it.
Yeah.
And the Colapinto overtake, it was picture-in-picture from the onboard of, I think, Lindblad or Gasly, one of the two. Was it Lindblad or Lawson? It was side by side with Gasly, and then Colapinto went past the 2.
Lawson. Lawson. Yeah.
It wasn't a general camera angle. It was just the onboard, and then we never saw it again. I think Stuart might have said it last race in the reaction. They've got it back to front. They need to swap it over. You use the picture-in-picture to keep the lead still there, so you can still keep an eye on what's going on up front, and then have the actual excitement full screen. Like you said, that battle, the Lindblad-Lawson fighting, towards the end where you had basically a 4-way knife fight for the last point. The whole last sort of 6-7 laps, you had Colapinto, Gasly, Lawson, Hulkenberg, all within a second and a half, 2 seconds. That must have been some great scrapping. We never saw it at all. It's nonsense.
Massive thank you in chat, by the way. First time this has happened on the channel, so it's quite a moment. Golf Balls has gifted 5 memberships to the channel. Thank you very much, mate. Babe, we're eating tonight. We can do the shopping. No, I'm joking. Thank you very much to Farty Golf Balls, and well done to Sad Mariners fan, Fud, Marta, Lawson Sims 44, and Robert Godsell, who picked up those memberships. So thank you very much, Golf Balls. That's really appreciated, mate. That's you're a star. Thank you for your support. And first one ever to do that, by the way, on either of my channels. So there you go. It's a world first on Formula Sean. Sorry,
Sad Mariners fan. The last 6 to 8 laps. I know what you're getting at.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's avoid that. Thank you again, Golf Balls. I really appreciate that, mate. I'll keep an eye out for you in chat as well, as always, throughout. But what we're saying in chat then for the
awesome.
Top 3 teams. I've never had it before, so I was like, what on earth is a gifted membership? And I'm guessing it's a membership that you give to people. Who knew? Fud says, 22 drivers. What race are you watching? There are only 7, and Russell have retired, so there are only 6 left. Yes. Didn't see if a Hadjar coming through either. Neelish says, do we really need to watch Piastri sitting 2 seconds Verstappen when there's midfielders doing double overtakes? Exactly. Hadjar was solid, kept himself working this way from the back of the pack to get a good finishing position, says Cited Canvas. We didn't see... No, this is... I was going to say as well, Fud. Did we see the double overtake full screen? We didn't. What I also want to ask for anybody who watches on mobile, how useful is that picture-in-picture, really? If you're watching on a 32-inch TV, it's fine. But if you're watching on mobile, it's probably just nothing, is it? Jamie says, also, chat, can we agree Lewis and Charles are going to finish ahead of George by the end of this season? The looking eye thing. The vague posting favourite, the lucky eyes, but at least Jamie's not vague posting, looking at certain people in the media. Long live Spain, says Jamie. Yes, I think quite a lot of the UK, or certainly England, are feeling very Spanish today. I watch on my phone. It's hard to see, says Anthony. Let's have a look back through the chat. See what anyone say about top three. If not, we will move on. Yes, Verstappen was born in Belgium. Lando was born in the UK, wasn't he? But his mum's Belgian, so they're both half Belgian. Bring back the lollipop man just for the whimsy, says Neelish. Raikkonen broke the mechanic's leg at Bahrain 2018. I think it was a financial penalty at the time. ... Says Pascal. Ferrari international assistance is in the chat. Yeah, a few people say that. Feel the penalty was for Russell being out more than the context, as Ash. That I kind of poked at that point. I know they like to say they don't generally.
It feels like that.
Yeah, if he'd have continued and it had just been a bit of a nudge and maybe done some damage up into a puncher, they might have let it go. But again, I'm not massively annoyed at the Hamilton one. I mean, I'm not annoyed at the Leclerc one because he finished second, so I'm quite happy with that. But that was, to me, the Leclerc one was more of a penalty than a Hamilton one, but I might be in the minority, I don't know. And
you're definitely not.
And Fudd says, for me, Kimi was Kimi for the intelligent race at the start, or Isack for the race from the back. Just double checking. We tend to miss things. I'll always say this. It's a reaction, not review, so we will miss things, I'm sure. But yes, golf balls is not Belgian. Confirmed. Let's roll on then. Who have we got next? It'll be McLaren. Oscar Piastri P5 today. Lando Norris P7. Do you know, it's funny. Sorry, I'd usually start with the driver in front, but just very quickly, I think Norris will be disappointed with P7, you know. He started 13th. He was running much higher than that. I think he's leading at one point, wasn't he? And then he had a slow 7.8 second stop on lap 31 with a slow left rear, which was slow to come off and to go on. So that put him behind Bortoletto, and that left too big a gap to Hadjar. I think I'm also a little bit surprised they didn't go for the virtual safety car stop, but I suppose he was on the hards, wasn't he? So then mediums, will they get to the end is the question from there. Maybe they're waiting for another safety car, but I think there were opportunities there for McLaren to get Norris a little bit higher up the field. So I think he'll be disappointed, but I think if you score a 7th place and you're the bottom of the finishing top 4 teams from 13th on the grid, it's not the end of the world, but it's not where he wants to be. I did say I did keep an eye on him. Lap 10 was up to P7 behind Lindblad and passed the RB on lap 12 for P6. So he's actually ended up back in P7 in the end. So I think he'll be disappointed. Piastri, I don't know if you agree, Jonty. Strange race for Piastri, actually. He had that contact with Charles, which caused damage to the car, and then his pace kind of just fell through the floor, really, compared to where it was. And I thought he's going to be in trouble. But then he pitted. I don't know if they tweaked the front wing, maybe. He pitted for some fresh tyres, and his pace just came back alive again. And he was back in the hunt for potentially a podium, but it never felt like he was going to threaten for it unless something happened. But he was passed by Hamilton late-ish on, and then it was actually quite a decent second half of the race of Piastri pace-wise. So a bit of a weird one for Oscar, but he's going to be relatively happy with P5, I think, given that I thought McLaren were going to be nowhere this weekend. So actually they were quite a surprise. Pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it was just messy, I think is the best word for Piastri's race. Like, yes, there was contact, but he didn't really seem to... It didn't fall off like there was proper damage. He just kind of slowly drifted back. And then, like you said, stopped and then suddenly came forward again, but didn't really do anything with it. How much of that was pace of people around him sort of matching? So, like, yes, his pace was good against his own sort of expected time. But if everyone else is going a bit quicker, it's not really going to show up, is it?
No.
And as far as Lando, then, yeah, I mean, they really should have pitted under the virtual safety car. Yes, he was going on to mediums, but we'd already had radio calls from at least a couple of people saying degradation's much lower than expected, or tyres are lasting well. You got to think half the fuel's gone, so there's less wear from that as well. The mediums definitely could have got to the end from where he was and been quick. And if you look at the pace he had towards, in the last 10 laps, he was flying. He, with an extra 8 to 10 laps of those tyres, he could have been in contention for a podium.
Sorry to step back on myself. I did meant to mention this earlier, just out of interest. I was filling out my stats for the year because I haven't been doing them. For average quali gap. Do you know what the average quali gap is between Leclerc and Hamilton at Ferrari?
I'm going to say the average is going to work out to like less than 1 or something stupid.
It's 0.001 seconds. It's 1,000th of a second on average between them. So we keep talking about Hamilton's got the better of Leclerc. Actually, it's bloody close in qualifying over the course of the season so far. That was quite a nice stat for me to find. And equally, actually, to be fair, the McLaren's less than 300ths between them. So I was going to make the point, and I think Piastri is having a better season than the recent rumours would suggest he's having, given that he missed the first race of the season and the second race of the season. Sure, Lando missed the second one as well, but I think Piastri's doing all right and did all right again today. It's just the point I wanted to make.
I mean, you could be saying that Lewis is getting the better of Charles because Lewis isn't throwing it at the scenery every fourth or fifth race.
Or on the cars. Leave Charles alone. I'm not having any of this slander. I'm not having it. Well done to McLaren. I think if you'd have offered them 6th and 7th at the start of the race, they might have been relatively happy. They might be disappointed with Lando, but 5th and 7th. They'll be relatively disappointed with Lando, I suppose, but slow pit stop, not his fault. These things happen. Another weekend they'll do a 1.9 and they'll look great, so it happens, I suppose. But yeah, it's very close between the McLarens this season in qualifying, and I'll do the race stats before the next stream, don't worry, next week, and I'll have the answer for you then. Bortoletto, I think John's already hinted at maybe one of his drivers of the day. 8th place in the Audi, fantastic drive. Sure, Russell retired. Yes, there were safety cars, all of that. But, I mean, you've got to be in it to win it, like I say. 8th place, great drive. Couldn't tell you much about it. Just got noted for leaving the track and getting advantage in an instant with Lindblad. No idea what happened. But Bortoletto, fantastic result, fantastic points. And, actually, I really like Bortoletto as well, by the way, just as an aside. I really like him. He's like a nice guy and a very quick guy as well. So he can stay.
Yeah.
He can stay.
Yeah, I'll take a wild guess, and he either cut Radion a little bit too much to keep a slipstream, or he went wide at Leclerc and decided to keep it.
Yeah, maybe.
That's it. That's all the advantages you're going to get at Spa, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
By going off track. Everywhere else you go off track, you have a really bad day.
Yeah, it's the wall or gravel, isn't it? There's not really an in-between there. Not like Abu Dhabi where you can just run off-road and be fine. But no, really, really good from Bortoletto. Nico Hulkenberg was there. He finished 13th, 8 tenths behind Lawson, so a couple of seconds off a point, I suppose. They need to sort this TV direction out, mate, because these reactions get absolutely pointless past the top 5 teams, top 4 teams. They really do. Hulkenberg was there. He'll be disappointed, I suppose, that his teammate was 8th and he was 13th. Don't know if he had a slow pit stop. Don't know if he had a safety car issue. Don't know if his car shut off again because of a piece of grout. I don't know. But 13th place, Bortoletto, the better of the 2 Audis. But I suppose, from a team's perspective, Jonty, I suppose, really great result for Audi. It puts them on 10 points for the season, actually, and they are well clear of Aston Martin, as everybody is, apart from Cadillac, and they're actually only a point behind Williams now, so it's quite an important few points there, potentially. If they can get something in Hungary, they'll move up a place in the championship if Williams have a bad weekend, so well done, Audi. Well done, Bortoletto.
Hulk didn't have the best qualifying either, so he started 14th, was it? Which is
12th.
Oh, after
penalty, sorry.
Hadjar Yeah, he still could have been a little bit higher, and obviously his car conked out at the end of Q2. I'll say.
Yes,
Maybe
no, it was
that had
Q6.
some issue
The
that-
delay was Q3, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that was some issue they had to deal with, and the car wasn't 100% right. Because usually, I mean, 13th isn't the best. It's also not the worst. It's usually a couple of spots higher than that. Who knows? Something went on, but we don't know, do we?
No, haven't got a clue. Where did AMR get their points, says Jamie? It was a point in Monaco for Fernando Alonso after Sergio Perez was disqualified, or given his penalty, sorry,
Yeah.
funnily enough. So it was Cadillac or Aston getting a point. So good stuff from Audi, I guess. But I always look at the championship. I think Saul's made the point in chat as well. Audi feel like they should be on more than 10 points, given the season they've had.
Yeah.
But it's a weird one. But there's a lot. Pascal will tell us very quickly in chat. There have been a lot of 11th places in there as well, in qualifying and in races. So they've been close, there or thereabouts.
Yeah. But all those 11th places could make a huge difference come the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's surprising how much difference that could make. If there's one thing I'd have to say about Audi since I was on last time, it's like change that special livery they did, where they changed the red to the yellow. Just keep that. For some reason, it just looked way better. Can't remember where it was. Might have been Austria.
Possibly, yeah.
It looked way better. I can't explain it.
I
It wasn't
think
quite as gaudy.
I think the standard Audi livery looks fantastic when I take my glasses off. Thank you very much to Lyle, long-time supporter, but member on this channel for 6 months. Thank you very much, mate. Has it been 6 months already? So Sean for TV director or FIA president. Oh, God, no thanks on the latter. You think Williams has been the most disappointed team in F1 this year, considering the hype for them question? One of, yeah. We'll get to Williams in a bit, but definitely one of, for sure. It's, yeah. Them and Aston, I think. It's been around a long time on the F1 word as well.
Not Lyle from F1 Fanatics.
Tell us, Lyle. Now we're feeling really awkward. Like, oh no, I'm ignoring the content creator.
Lyle and Jordan. Sorry, that's just the only Lyle I've ever known. So.
Oh, do you mean the debate show?
Who knows?
F1
maybe.
debate show.
You're under you're under F1 debate show. Sorry, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Who got all the heat from Lando fans?
Yeah, for no reason.
For stating a fact. Anyway, Racing Bulls, on the subject of Lando fans, I don't know why. Racing Bulls, Lindblad, I think had a great weekend, Jonty, I really do. Ninth place in the end, fantastic in qualifying, couple of points. Probably disappointed to end up behind Bortoletto, but I still think really great weekend for him. And Liam Lawson, yes, 12th, but actually only, a second and a half of a point. So he was in that fight with Alpine, and that's the fight I've been wanting to see for a while now. It feels like it's Racing Bulls versus Alpine for best of the rest. So to see the four of them, well, not the four of them, I mean, Lindblad was 25 seconds up the road, but to see three of them at least battling on track is quite exciting, and I think they can be very, very happy. There was a fight between the two drivers, which again I think was picture-in-picture we didn't see properly. And one of them was noted for forcing the other one off the track, but no further investigation, so not sure what happened there. Looking at you, chat. Let me know. I'll come to you in a bit for the rest when we finish these two for the point scorers. But yeah, Lindblad and Lawson. Lindblad, fantastic. Lawson's been good this weekend. Go on.
Yeah, because they had didn't they make a deal in Silverstone?
Don't know.
Where they had a straight, I think it was last race, the drivers made a deal because there was only going to be one set of upgrades available.
Lindblad got them.
So they made a deal. Yeah, they made a deal of whoever qualifies highest gets the upgrades next race.
That's fair.
I mean, I'd have preferred them to make it a bit more fun, like, you know, they have a skateboard race down the pit lane or something.
Yeah.
It's silly.
Whoever's leading at turn one first gets to win the race, whatever happens, even if you do get called into the pits for no reason. I'm not bitter. It's only been nearly 30 years.
And one side note, I know it's completely irrelevant, doesn't make any difference to anything. I mean, I generally can't be bothered with all the little media bits that Sky do for this, that, and the other. But I did really enjoy Lawson's one that was all focused around music. That was very pleasant, and he knows some quality little niche artists, which I appreciate.
Def Leppard, one
It's
of his
his first concert.
Memories.
Yeah, first concert he was going to because he had to pass an exam before his dad would take him, a guitar exam. Like, yeah, fair enough. I can respect that.
God,
It was nice to see one of those that's just fun, and not to see Lewis watching black and white footage of Silverstone in 1950 for the 18 billionth time.
Yeah. My dad used to just take me to work with him and go, sit there so I can keep an eye on you, you little shit. That's all I got. I never got to go see Def Leppard. Anyway, great stuff from Racing Bulls again, I feel like I have to say at the end of that one. Colapinto, probably overtake of the day. He finished in P10. I'll not read everything I've written here, but he finished in P10. He kind of just caught Lawson and Gasly napping, didn't he? And went, like, right, lads, I'm coming through. I've got more pace. Get out of my way. Squeezed Gasly out a little bit wide because he wants to make sure he gets the move done. But it was a completely hard and fair move, and I think overtake of the day. So great to see him back in the points. I think he's been having a quietly very solid season, actually, Colapinto. In fact, he's only failed to score at 4 races, which is actually quite impressive. The same as his teammate, actually. So well done to him, and Gasly, again, involved in that fight. Maybe would have been different without his slow 3.4 or slowish 3.4 second stop. Knock a second off that. He's potentially P10, but I'm not going to take that away from Colapinto. That was a cracking move. And Gasly just continues to Gasly. I think that guy's great. Great's maybe pushing it, but yeah.
Yeah, Colapinto's been fantastic. I'm just not going to give him credit for it until tomorrow when the World Cup's officially over.
Yeah, we'll talk about Colapinto next week. no, I like Colapinto.
How amazing has Sainz been?
Great.
How amazing has Sainz and Alonso been?
Oh,
They're awesome.
Alonso,
They've been great today.
Only 2 laps down. Wow. No, jokes aside, I do like Colapinto a lot, so I'm happy to see him doing well. What have we got in chat? I did see Pascal said that Nico Hulkenberg had no straight line speed today, so that's possibly part of the reason there. You kind of need straight line speed at Spa if you're going to get good results, so not massively shocking there. Audi, yeah, it was Neelish that said Audi really don't deserve to be anywhere near Williams or Haas. A lot of battling for Hulkenberg that he lost out on. Hulkenberg was in the wars as well. He was almost P10-ish at one point. So yeah, a bit of a strange. Pascal says I'm very happy. P8 for Bortoletto, 4 points for Audi, and top of the midfield in this race. Let's chase down Williams and Haas for P7. Just not an all. I'll say it every week. Don't have a pop at us. I'm so sorry we can't go into more detail on some of this stuff, but this is why I moved the reactions to a Monday at one point, just to try them when we had the info. But if we keep the reactions as they are, which I'd like to because it's more fun this way anyway, it's ridiculous we see nothing of these teams. I don't need to see Antonelli and Leclerc doing nothing in the middle sector. Come back to us when they're getting a run through Eau Rouge or whatever. But yeah, no, it's... Well, like Jonty says, just keep the picture-in-picture, be the leaders all the time. Just have the leader picture-in-picture all the time, and then we can watch everything else. Because I'd love to have seen that Colapinto, Gasly, Lawson moment on full screen with some analysis. I'd love to have seen a bit more of the Bearman Ocon incident on the first lap. I'd like to have seen more of the other incidents we've gone through today that we didn't see. So, yeah, sort it out, F1, please. You've got a growing audience. You've got the money. There's no excuses for shit direction, to be honest.
And take notes from other racing series for things like cameras and whatnot. I mean, not comparing them, but the airbox camera they've got in IndyCar, yeah, it'd be tricky to get it to fit in somewhere because of where it's mounted. But the fact that they're moving it around to follow overtakes in real time, they can do that with the one on the nose in F1. How often do we see it? I think I've seen it like 2 or 3 times in the years it's been there. Like, you'll get it with a couple of replays, but the one they've got on IndyCar, which is higher up, they literally watch a car overtake as it drives past. It's fantastic. Imagine that down the Camel Straight for a move like that. It'd be awesome. Give us more.
Just spotted Nick the Greek in chat. Hey, mate. No, you're all right, Jonty. I like it when you go on one like that. Just want to say hey, mate, to him. Hey to Black Hawk so as well. So seeing a car 0.8 seconds behind a car in front, but showing a three-way battle overtaking pitch and picture box. Thanks for that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, the win is the most important thing that they're going to sell after us, and it is the most important thing. That's why we go racing. Who's going to win? But
yeah,
0.8 seconds down the Kemmel Straight. Yeah, focus on that. But through the middle sector when no one's going to make a move, let's go watch replays of Colapinto's move on Gasly and Lawson. But they'll keep going as they are. They don't listen to fan feedback. Otherwise, sprints would have disappeared immediately. But here we go. A lot more coming next year.
They focus on like the headline sort of display front element. Like almost every start finish straight has a cable cam on it.
Yeah.
That chases along, that can be get some really good shots. But they don't, there's loads of places on different tracks where they don't think about where those moves are going to happen, where the side by side stuff's going to happen. You're not going to get as much of it in Spa on the run to La Source as you are at the Kemmel Straight. So put the cable cam there. If you can only have one, because obviously things like this cost money, and they probably force the tracks to do it themselves. Spa, you want it there, not on the start finish straight. When we get to Interlagos, there'll be one along the start finish straight, but there won't be on the run from 3 to 4, which is where you want it.
I can't wait for Interlagos. That's an evergreen statement, isn't it? Oh, can't wait for it. Anyway, as soon as anyone mentions Interlagos, I just have a minor crisis. Every time. I bloody love that place. It's fantastic. Before we get on to the remaining teams, just very quickly, if you haven't already, please do drop a like on the stream and subscribe if you are new. Back again on Wednesday with the preview for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And then I'm going to be live for at least...
a week off.
Yeah, at least the qualifying watch along and the race reaction. Possibly we'll trial the pre-race stream as well. We'll see how we feel next week after quali. I'll see what you guys want from there. But thank you to your feedback on that one. Really appreciate it. And again, I'm going to make the statement on streams. You can always shout at me in a few weeks' time if I don't. 100% I will be full-time from Zandvoort race week. So that is it. I will have finished my summer job, let's say. Sounds weird and dodgy, but it's not. So I will be back full time for Zandvoort. So get subscribed if you haven't already. Lots to come this season. Lots of races. Even if we do get 2 cancelled, we'll still get lots of races to come in the second half of the season. So likes and subs, greatly appreciated as always. And thank you again to Golf Balls for your gifted memberships. I will add those to the end screens probably before next weekend, so you'll get your names on there then. But yeah, final few teams. This one, I look at my phone like, come on, press releases for God's sake. Where are we? Ollie Bearman 14th for Haas, Ocon 17th. Ocon hit by Sainz at turn 1 and then hit by his teammate at the chicane a little later on in the lap and ran off into the gravel. So I don't blame Ocon for those two. He can have a weekend off, but then I don't blame Ocon for anything, do I? He pitted under the safety car on lap 1 with that damage, had all that sorted, came home 17th. Ollie Bearman, all I got from him apart from the contact with his teammate was Sainz wing looks dangerous, it's hanging off. So make sure you come back for some more of these great reviews. I the Ollie Bearman Ocon thing, I only caught one replay of it. It didn't look to be much in that. I don't think Bearman's done that deliberately. Just an unfortunate incident between the two of them. But Ocon, I think, as much as I try to defend that guy, his qualifying yesterday was atrocious. And I don't know if anybody knows yet if there was an issue, but it was... Oh, that was so bad. But yeah, no, today, not on Ocon today for those incidents, but got it to the finish, and if something happens ahead, then maybe he could have got something out of it, but he didn't. So Bearman, again, the better of the two Haas lads this weekend. That's it. That's the Haas review.
Yeah, I think the thing at the start was no one's fault. Ocon or Sainz or Bearman. I think it was a case of stuff had happened up front. It's going to concertina back, and there's only so much track you can only avoid. So with everyone trying to dodge and maneuver, someone's going to run out of space.
Yeah, I agree. We'll come to calendar talk in a bit, but yeah, it's difficult as well to say well done for 14th and 17th. But I guess Ayo Komatsu said in the grid to Sky, I think to Martin Brundle, that he wasn't expecting anything from this race without drama. So maybe for just, again, the Cadillac argument, get it to the end of the race. If there's some chaos, you might nick a point. But they were quite a way off. I mean, Bearman was 16 seconds behind Hulkenberg, so did make an extra pit stop, but yeah, didn't really. I guess that's something for you then. 2 stops for the Haas drivers. There you go. Albon 15th and Sainz 16th for Williams. Sainz, lap 15, says I didn't approve the front wing change. Wing was fine. It's the floor, so he was carrying some sort of issue. 1.1 seconds behind his teammate and 5 seconds up the road from Ocon, who did make the extra pit stop, of course, because of that contact with Sainz at turn 1. So, yeah, Sainz, not great. Albon, I heard nothing from him at all, and I haven't got a Williams press release, I don't think. I'll double check. No, I haven't. I've only got Aston Martin's, which will be a waste of time reading. But anyway, yeah, so Williams, nothing from today, but kind of where they've been, unless I'm misremembering. Let me just go back quickly, Jonty, and have a look. But yeah, I mean, last 4 races, 12th and not classified, 17th retirement, 17th retirement, 15th and 16th this weekend. So kind of where they've been of late. So just a shame. And I hope that whatever this new chassis they're working on is, they can get it to that car as quickly as possible, because it's not good. Really, and just to answer that question, I think Williams are one of the disappointments of the season, given that the progress we've seen over the last couple of years. Coming into this year, I thought under James Vowles we'd get another step, and they've taken a big step backwards. So I think that's a very fair question from Lyle.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing between both Williams and Haas. They were both sort of right up there last season, certainly towards the end. Always fighting for points, always fighting for Q3. And Haas even looked pretty good during testing this year. And then, what happened?
Yeah.
It makes me sad, because I like it when underdogs like that do well.
I mean, I still live in hope that Williams will do a McLaren and take a big jump. I still live in hope of the day that, no disrespect to Red Bull and Mercedes, that we've got Ferrari, McLaren and Williams at the front again, but that's just nostalgic, Sean, being sad and not moving on from the past. But yeah, not great from Williams. I'm going to read this, though, from MSC Byless. I have to
grab a can.
Yep. Ocon is on his way to a real croque monsieur. Add some cheese. He's toast already. There you go. It does sound like Ocon's going to be in trouble with that seat. Sonoda, Kamara, and I forgot his name. It's gone. Not Fornaroli. You'll tell me in chat, but he looks like he's under pressure from some drivers in F2 and possibly Yuki Tsunoda as well. So yeah, but Williams, not really anything to say. No press release to go through. If it comes through before the end of the stream, I'll run through it. Also, no decision yet on Lewis Hamilton, just to let you know. Cadillac, 18th for Bottas, no notes on him. Perez at lap 14 says, I think my suspension is broken. Pits at the end of that lap and then retires. So, yeah, not great for Perez in the end. Not great for Bottas. But Bottas did get to the end of the race. He was, Jesus Christ, 72.6 seconds clear of Fernando Alonso at the end of the race, having both made 2 pit stops. Alonso's last lap was... bloody hell, about 5 seconds slower than Bottas. Yeah, no, so Bottas could be happy, did what Cadillac need to do, get their car to the end. Maybe he'd pick up a point if he had some chaos, but long way off it otherwise. Like I said, Perez broke his suspension, nothing there. Aston Martin, Fernando Alonso, like I say, long way off in 19th place and 2 laps down. Lance Stroll had a clutch issue and retired on lap 27. The press release, Fernando says, I'm off to watch the World Cup final. What a waste of my day. He didn't really say that. Said, we did our best today. I know it's PR. I hate it when I see Fernando Alonso 19th place, 2 laps down, 72 seconds off the nearest car, and his opening line is, we did our best today. That, even for someone who's not a massive Alonso fan from the past, that's a kick in the gut. But he says, but we knew our limitations this weekend, collected some valuable data for the team, and are now focused on Budapest. I bet they are. We will need to maximise all of our practice sessions next weekend and learn as much as we can about the new package. Lance Stroll said, our pace was pretty much where we expected it to be. So, shit. We knew this track was always going to be difficult for us, like every other track, and it was a tough race from the start. Towards the end, I started to feel something with the gearbox, so we retired with the car to investigate it. Hopefully, we could be a bit more competitive in Hungary and have a stronger weekend there. And Mike Crack said it was not an easy afternoon and we did not have the pace to compete. We simply tried to maximise those things within our control, being strong operationally and delivering the best strategy, and that was pretty much it. Then just need to say the focus now shifts to Budapest and introducing a new package for the AMR 26. So I'm not got anything to say about Aston Martin or Cadillac, Jonty, other than what I've said. So unless you have something I've missed that was incredible, then we'll probably move on. But yeah, just so sad to see Fernando down there.
It's hearing that from Fernando. That's not Fernando.
No.
I don't.
That's the PR team.
And but it gives me the. Yeah, but that's the kind of thing that he'll be saying like in the pen.
Yeah. Oh, it literally is.
He doesn't hold that. He doesn't hold back from that ever. And it gives that little bit of hope of like he believes in where the car's going, where the team's going. It makes you believe like, yeah, there's got to be something to it. They're going to be coming back, and then they don't. Like compare it to McLaren Honda.
Oh God,
there was no mistaking what his feelings were. Like, even during was it the second or third year of that? It must have been the second year. During testing, literally during the testing, the first radio we hear from him is the car feels better, much slower than before. Wow, it's going to be that year for you, is it, Fernando? And all the I try 3 times, you try yourself.
Yeah.
Despite having one of the greatest drives he's ever had during that period. With in Baku, 2017. When he dragged a car around 3/4 of a lap with no front wing and 2 wheels, still finished 7th.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Something which wouldn't be allowed now, by the way.
No.
Sadly.
And I can't believe it's all about being paid that much either. After the career he's had and all the things he's done, he's not short of a penny.
No.
Yeah, if it's a case of say what we want or we're not going to pay you this month, he's like I care.
Yeah, oh no, I'll just have to sell some more of my hats from my beach brand or whatever he's got. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens with Fernando. I've got a horrible, well, not a horrible feeling. I think his future entirely rests on 2 key points. Next weekend and the Honda upgrade for Zandvoort. That's it. That'll be it. If they don't work, do you know what, actually? He might want to, but from a personal point of view, and this is only my opinion, and I'm sure many will share it, some will disagree, if it means he's driving around in 19th place next year, I hope he does go. I hope he goes and does, like Max Verstappen, if you're in that position or you're unhappy, go and do something you enjoy, because I would still go watch Fernando Alonso in other series. I'd watch Max Verstappen in other series. Go and have some fun, Fernando. You know, you're not getting any younger, mate, he says. I think Fernando's like, what is he? Hang on a minute. Yeah. I always call him old. I always joke about his age.
He's not that old. He's younger than me.
He's only 4 years older than me. He's 44.
Oh, he's what? Oh, he's 44. Okay.
He's 4 years older than me, and I'm calling him an old man. But yeah, no, go do something you enjoy, please, Fernando, because it hurts seeing you down there, even as someone who hated him in 2005 and 2006.
Thanks. Yeah, as I said a couple of months ago on the stream, it's like just go bag a full-time indie drive with someone.
Yeah.
Really focus and try to get that triple crown. Even though he's done way more than the triple crown by now.
No, I agree.
But that's the official triple crown. You know, Indy 500, F1 World Championship, overall win at Le Mans. He's also done overall win at Daytona 24 and another 12-hour race somewhere. And
he's won Monaco as well, so that ends that argument.
And did they win the Dakar? No, I think he might have dropped out of the Dakar. I can't remember. But yeah, he's done loads of stuff. But I would still like to see him win the 500.
Yeah. Pascal says Alonso has delayed his decision about next year to see how the improvements will work. So that might be a live for Fernando as well. So pretty much what we're saying there. But we'll leave it there. I will just, to a couple of in chat saying that Cadillac are doing well. I agree. And Martha says, yeah, but Cadillac is faster than someone who had 3 podiums 3 years ago. Absolutely. Cadillac could be very happy with their year so far. They're doing everything they had to do. Next year is when we start to judge them, is how they move forward from here. But yeah, this year was always about learning for Cadillac, so no issue with them at all. But let's roll on. Get ready, chat.
Remember.
I'll get set. Yeah. I won't forget. I hope not. Rocket Raccoon will kill me if I do. Driver of the day. Who are you going for, chat? One surname in chat. Jonty's hinted at his. I'll give him a second to think while I just read that from King Gannon 4405 is officially what I've got here. I know who you are, mate. This is a member for 5 months. Thank you very much for your support. It says forever, Formula Sean forever. Your favourite text and sending love from Houston as like always. Love to see the growth and sending love to my older, to my other F1 uncle Jonty. I read that as older. I'm so sorry, Jonty. Thank you very much for your support.
Both is fair.
The shade. I'm sorry, mate. Who's your driver of the day?
I see a lot of people saying Hadjar. Official was Leclerc. I'm going to go Colapinto just for the overtake. Let's hope that's the only thing they win today.
Salty much?
Yes.
Hey, we finished 3rd. Like anyone gives a shit. Colapinto, yeah, no, overtake of the day, definitely. I think it's a really tricky one this time. Antonelli, pretty much faultless. Managed to bounce back from that VSC swinging Ferrari's way. I think Verstappen was good today, if not spectacular. I think Piastri did well. Hadjar came through 15 places. Bortoletto got 8th place in an Audi. So Lindblad possibly one of the drivers of the weekend. So it's quite a tricky one. But I might... Chat, I've gone Hadjar. Do I need to go with a different one? Leclerc won official. Hadjar is what chat have gone with. Jonty's gone with Colapinto. I'll be boring and go Antonelli then, just to give you a different answer. But I was leaning towards Hadjar just for the 15 places. But I know there were other things in there. And only 4.3 off Piastri in the end, by the way, and held off Norris at the end. So, yeah, I'll go Antonelli to be really boring, looking at chat. Fud said no one cared about England coming 3rd until we came 3rd. I still don't care. If we finished 4th, I'd still be living about that last half an hour against Argentina. I mean, I'm surprised actually when it went 1-0 up yesterday that they didn't send on Dan Burn and start defending. Knob. Also, to quote Jonty, and to quote most of the internet, actually I won't say it because you know what I'm going to say. Most of the internet was saying the same thing and asking the same question last night. But, you know,
yeah,
whatever. Let's not get into football again. Good luck, Spain. Yes, they finished on the podium. I like that, Nick. It'll do. I just can't. I can't. What are you saying in chat? Fud says Hadjar for driver of the day. Marta has gone with Hadjar. Red Raven says can't stay watch today, sadly. It was an okay race. Ferrari did a decent job and Russell can't take a break, can he? Enjoy the rest of the stream. I'll watch later. Thank you very much, mate, as always. If you hear this later, hope you're okay and thank you for your support. Leclerc all the way, says professional moron. Golf ball's gone with Mylander. Hadjar for Addy Boy says the guy banked me a ton of points in the F1 predict thing. There you go. Kaori's gone Hadjar, Leclerc. Colapinto for Nick. Miss Daisy for Craig. Bortoletto for beating Alpine and V-Carb, says Pascal. That's a good point, actually. We're talking about Racing Bulls and Alpine as best of the rest. Bortoletto beat them both today, so that's a very good point, Pascal, actually. Very good shout. Who drove the tractor? That's my drive of the day, says Sighted Canvas. King Gannon has gone. Is that Lando Norris, or was that just a mistake from the LMAO? I'll give you Lando. There you go, Lando Norris. Why not? And Colapinto for the Steer of God, says CPB. Yeah, both your names are shown, but there we go. I think that's the driver of the day done. So, if you have any questions, anything you want to say, pop it in chat. Remember, it is a reaction, not a review. So if you've missed anything, feel free to point it out and we'll talk about it. But we'll take questions on pretty much anything. You've got me and Jonty tonight, so you know, pot noodles, cheese, dogs, motorsport, football, whatever. It was quite funny putting Stuart on the spot the other day though with football after the was it France-Paraguay game, and I was like, "What did you think of the referee last night?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I can't believe it." Yeah, he has no idea. But yeah, no. Please do get your comments and your questions in. Likes and subs always appreciated. Like I say, so thank you again for all your support. Lots of members in chat now. Look at that, loads of them.
It's all green.
It's all green. So yeah, please do. Let us know what you're thinking, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I guess while chat are getting warmed up, Jonty, I suppose. But thoughts on Hungary? I was saying yesterday in the quali watch along, you probably heard it, that it's one of those tracks that's really bloody grown on me in more recent years. It was one that I didn't look forward to at all, and since it's lost that Monaco without the barrier trope, I suppose, it's become a much better track for racing. Still very difficult to overtake on, but we've actually had some very good Hungarian Grand Prix over the last few years, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's one of the very few tracks where the progressive changes in the regulations has actually made the racing better somehow. I don't know how, because it's counterintuitive. Because I always remembered it as being just the most boring bloody track. Like, the only time it was ever exciting was when it was raining and we got a surprise result, like Button's first win in 2006. Yeah. Things like that. But the last 10 years, it's just been a banger race all the time. And I think it's going to be great with these cars.
Yeah.
So as we know, with these power units and the reduced aero, they're a bit tail happy. So the side-by-side fights through that, where it's round turn 1 and then 2 and then the King of 3, it's just going to be awesome.
Yeah,
it really is. And I also think if anyone gets a bit greedy through that really high speed left of 4, someone might be making a mess.
I did think about this yesterday. I wonder if we're going to see a big crash up there, because these cars, you look at Hamilton and Gasly this weekend going off at quite unconventional places for one reason or another. So if somebody goes in there, like you say, a bit too hungry, funnily enough, and gets a twitch, that could be a big accident, a big spin at least.
Yeah.
So I think we might see something, hopefully not a crash, hopefully just a big spin and they're okay. But I do, that's going to be a trickier corner than perhaps, I mean, it's a pretty much flat out blind left-hander, and I'm talking about being trickier than it used to be. But you know what I mean with these cars in particular. But Hungary for me is all about start-finish line to the chicane, and after that it gets a bit follow. That's the bit that's a bit more Monaco in the sense that it's follow the leader and you can't really do much through there. But with the energy management of things, we might see some surprise overtakes in there. But I think Hungary is much better than it used to be. But I'm with you. I don't remember. I mean, Damon Hill in '97 was quite special, wasn't it? Taking the lead and so nearly winning it until it all fell apart. Yeah. Which is a shame. But
that would have been historic. Winning like that in Arrows, that would have been quite spectacular.
Well,
but you say it goes a bit follow leader, but it's also still quite entertaining to watch.
Yeah, in
that similar Monaco way. Like, sure, it's not racing, but the cars on the limit are quite a thing to see around those tracks. Certainly through the middle sector.
Yeah. No, I think there's an argument, but I don't think there's an argument in that. I think you're right, which isn't the first time, of course. But on the subject of 97, I will say I had an idea today. I don't know what members and patrons think of it, but I touched on it yesterday. I might do a patron member exclusive series, and I'm thinking of going back and watching all the races from 1997 and reviewing them one a month or something like that. So start with Australia 97 and work through to more recent times, just as a retrospective kind of series. But I'm not sure how it'll work yet, so I'd leave it with me. But that was just an idea, something historic rather than just all about now.
Why 1997? Is this like a form of exposure therapy so you can get over it?
Well, there's that. But also I thought next year, 30 years since 97, so we'd finish it next year. But also, I've been watching since 92, but that is the first year I can vividly remember perfectly from pretty much start to finish, right from Eddie Irvine, Johnny Herbert and Jacques Villeneuve at Turn 1 in Australia, all the way to Jacques Villeneuve deliberately crashing Michael Schumacher out in Jerez. I'm taking no questions. But yes, I quite fancy that. I love 97. It was a great season, even if it didn't have the outcome that I wanted.
I would advise not doing 94. Because even outside of the obvious reason of San Marino, the entire rest of the season was a bloody horror show. It was an entire cursed year. I mean, are you going to do years in sequence or just pick out classic years until they've all been done? Or something?
I mean, I was going to start going through the whole seasons, but if people are like, oh, don't bother with insert year here, then I'll skip it, because there are some that are kind of, I mean, 2004.
Oh, because I was going to suggest, like, 2003 was pretty crazy.
Oh, it was
lots
nuts.
of mad races.
Nuts.
It was mental. And also 2012, the obvious choice.
Yeah, 2012
was outrageous. And 2010, to be fair. But also, like, 2012 was now 14 years ago. So you could well have, like, people in the chat who were babies who have no idea about it.
People in this chat won't have been born.
It.
There'll be some people in this chat that won't have been born.
Probably, yeah.
Anyway, let's not age again, John. I can't do it. There was something I saw on social media the other day. I think it was like the 30th anniversary of Hocus Pocus or something. I was like, oh, no, it was more than that. Like 33 years ago it was released. Like, oh, bog off.
Aliens was 40 yesterday.
Ugh. Don't. That's the same age as me. And I don't remember watching it when it came out, but I've certainly watched it more than a few times. Great franchise. Not my favourite franchise. My favourite franchise is Back to the Future. And I don't care who hates me for it. I love it. CPB says, what would be funny? A leaked audio of Russell crying to Toto Wolff about how they developed the car to Kimi's favour, or Messi missing a penalty tonight. In my anger.
Ironically, Messi doesn't have the greatest penalty record.
No. Just on the Russell thing, I am waiting for his fans or fan or whoever to start saying this is all to favour Kimi, because that's the inevitability, isn't it? When, you know, you've got two teammates with a car capable of winning the title, there's always, oh, they've built it favourably for such and such. And yes, that was the case for Schumacher. Yes, that's arguably the case for Verstappen as well. But I don't think Mercedes have purposely gone out their way to build a car for Kimi Antonelli. I think George Russell's had some rotten luck. He's made some mistakes, and he's had one of those today shit happens moment, I'm afraid. But Kimi will have one. There'll be one for Kimi later in the year. There'll be mistakes from him. There'll be reliability problems. But at the moment, he's sitting pretty. But I don't think there's any favouritism at Mercedes. Toto Wolff seems to love them and hate them both equally, depending on what mood he's in coming over the radio. So yeah, I don't believe any of that. But if social media want to make claims like that's up to them. I'm too old and I'd argue too intelligent to get involved in that.
My thought on that Russell thing is there was a lot of talk online, in articles, and us, I must admit, wondering about, car breaking down, being beaten by Kimi, if, it's got to have been affecting Russell's performance, and then he came out in Austria and monstered pole position. Yellow's issue aside,
you saw
about
face
that.
Yeah.
So he kind of proved, no, it's definitely not affecting him mentally, because he's just done that. And then he was pretty on the pace of Silverstone as well. So, how Russell?
I was gonna say, which also proves the car isn't geared to one or the other, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah. It proves the car isn't geared to one or the other, and it shows that at least until then, wasn't getting in his head. Has it today? The fact that maybe he might feel like, he even said as much, that he could have left a bit more space. And will he be dwelling on the fact, oh Christ, was that my mistake? Have I just cost myself another load of points? Who knows?
Sighted canvas, absolutely. This is the thing. Kimi might have a nightmare race in Hungary next week. Who knows? This is it. We're currently sat here now. It's a 50-point gap between the two teammates. If Kimi crashes out or has a reliability problem or anything in Hungary that means he doesn't score, and George wins, we're having a different conversation again. It just is one of those. Yeah. It feels like one of those seasons, and some years I could sit here and go, I try to think. Lewis Hamilton in particular. Sort of thinking since I had the channel, so 2019, that kind of thing, 2020, it was inevitable, and you could sit at the summer break and go, yeah, Lewis is going to win this. I don't think this is one of those seasons, because there's just been, you look at the results for this year, and it's predominantly Mercedes, but it doesn't feel like that. It certainly feels like it's been more unpredictable behind the winner. I mean, what have we got? So Russell, and so we've got 2 races haven't been won by Mercedes out of 10, so they've won 8 of the 10, but it hasn't felt the same as, say, Mercedes last year of domination, if that makes sense, or Red Bull's Verstappen era of domination. It doesn't feel like that. It's been unpredictable. There's been reliability problems. There's been drama behind. Qualifying, you're like, well, Antonelli's got this, and then suddenly, like you say, Russell crops up, or Leclerc surprises, or Verstappen comes out of nowhere, or Miami, the sprint. Where did McLaren turn up them from? And then disappeared. So it's so unpredictable, even though Mercedes have won comfortably the most races. So I don't think this is one of those years we can sit and say, yes, Antonelli's won it. Long way to go. And like, again, Craig, last year, just look at last year. I'm not even going to do it now. It's not even worth the risk of looking a fool.
Well, no, you say not just title fight from last year, but also look at Antonelli last year.
Yeah.
It was around about this time, possibly sort of Spa, Hungary, maybe Zandvoort, when something happened and he went to absolute doo-doo. Might have been a bit earlier, maybe Spain or something, but he turned to absolute crap for no reason whatsoever and didn't pick it up again until sort of Singapore.
And then was
I still haven't. I still haven't. The only explanation I've seen, like, I think there might have been a couple of interviews where he was saying he had like one big mistake and then was second guessing himself a lot. Could that still be in there? He only needs to make one, but he hasn't really made a major mistake yet this year. He's had bad luck on reliability, or he's been beaten fair and square by Russell or Lewis or Charles, but he hasn't really made a major mistake. Got to wait for that one major mistake. Will it have the same effect? We don't know. Anything could happen.
I know it was his rookie year last year, but just to those who maybe forgot last year, just to make the point, Imola was the 8th round of the season, I believe. Just double check. 7th round, sorry. From then, he went retired, 18th, retired, 3rd in Canada.
Was that early?
Retired, 16th, 10th in Hungary, 16th at Zandvoort, but then went 9th, 4th, 5th, 13th, 6th, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 15th. So it just shows how a season can swing. Yes, there is the rookie argument, but he's still only 19, so... Yeah.
I didn't realise it started that early. I knew these races were in it sort of through the European leg. But I mean, that's like way, way down, especially compared to what George was doing. And then right back up again.
Yeah.
With random Canada aside. Can't remember what happened. Something must have happened in Canada that led to that. I can't remember.
It was a mixed conditions race, wasn't it?
The McLarens
Yes, they did.
McLarens hit each other.
I'm going to step in
They repeated the McLarens of 2011.
Actually, I think you'll find Norris hit Piastri. The McLarens didn't hit each other. Norris drove into the back of Piastri. For no apparent reason. I don't want to get into this today because it was over a year ago. For no apparent reason. Anyway, FP3 in Australia
same as 2011.
Is only major mistake, says Michael for Antonelli. I did see Max is here somewhere. Max has just got back from watching The Odyssey. He says peak cinema, so let us know, mate. I really want to see that. And also says, have you got a new camera, Sean? Quality looks much better. It's the same camera I've been using for much of the season, but I did do some tweaking with it this week for the warm-up screen that I was preparing. So because I'm slightly bigger in that one, so you'll see more of this beautiful face. I apologise. Unsubscribe. So yeah, looking forward to potentially testing that next week. And Neelish has got a good point, because it was the one thing that made me nervous today. Neelish says Antonelli's biggest mistakes have just been track limits. You're absolutely right. He's always seems to be on that bit at the bottom, doesn't he? Track limits. So, and you sort of go, oh, don't be silly. And then hopefully, luckily Bono came over the radio today and stopped that one, didn't he? But that's a very good point.
I had thought about that. That actually set my brain to thinking whilst I was watching the race, because Bono came on saying, just be careful of track limits. And he came back and said, how many have we got? And Bono said, that's 2 now. And I was just thinking, is Kimi in his head saying, right, that means I've got 1 more that I can use? Was that being clever?
Say that again.
But Bono came on the radio.
Yeah.
Said, Kimi, just be wary of track limits. Getting warnings. And Kimi replied on the radio saying, how many warnings have we got now? To which Bono replied, that's 2 now. Just keep it clean. Now, was that Kimi checking so that he can then think, that means I've got 1 left?
If I need it on the last lap sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that means I can straight line Radion or something.
Yeah.
It's like, I had a bit of a wiggle. I had to get out of it whilst gaining half a second. Do you know what I mean?
Good point. No, good point. Yeah. That's so smart thinking again. Just keep that in the back of his mind. Right, I'll just be careful. Keep 1 just in case I need it. Yeah, no.
That's what the smart drivers do. I mean, go back to the famous Alpine.
God.
Which was, if I remember, that was Sochi, wasn't it? Because in practice, Alonso had been practicing going wide at turn 2 to go through that tiny bollard that you have to go left of at maximum speed, and then just went and overtook about 6 people. Went, hey, look, I abided by the race director's notes. Not my problem that you didn't specify a speed.
Just on Alonso track limits, my favourite is Abu Dhabi the year before he took a year out, and that last lap where he just went, screw it, and just straight across every chicane, didn't care. That was it. He got loads of penalties for that, didn't he, in the end?
Yeah, that was the intrusive thoughts moment, that was. Yeah. I'm just going to have a laugh.
Sky saying, by the way, Fred Vasseur thinks it'll be a fine for Ferrari. Just look at their website now, so nothing official on FIA. On the FIA feed, so it probably that's why it was my first, back to what we said at the start of the stream.
Dirty.
It was the first.
It feels dirty.
I know, but it was my first thought when it came up with, will we investigate after the race, because that is as slam dunk and unsafe release as you can get. You've run your mechanic over. Whether it's your fault or not is irrelevant. It still happens, so that should be a penalty. But to push that investigation to the end of the race says to me they were looking for a way to find the team, which I think in some ways you could argue, well, it wasn't Lewis's fault, so fair enough. But then it's the Martin Brundle argument. It's not the team's fault when Lewis put it in the wall in practice. So, if that happens at the end of a race and Leclerc crashes in Monaco, the team don't get the points back, do they? So you're in it.
Exactly.
You're in it together. So now, as far as an no-sighted canvas, the mechanic was fine. As fine as you're going to be, but when hit by an F1 car. But
I think we would have heard a report if the mechanic was injured by now, at least. It just feels a bit off, especially when the sporting regulations specifically give 5-second, 10-second, or drive-through. Those are the only options to penalise an unsafe release. That's all you've got. Releasing the car in an unsafe condition is a different thing.
Yeah.
Now, will they be trying to play that one? Maybe they can claim, wheel wasn't on right, or something with the wing or whatever. I don't know. But I don't like it. It just feels off. Like you said,
sorry, Johnson.
Trying to give the team a fine and avoid proper penalty, it just doesn't feel right.
Pascal says, according to Hamilton's race engineer, mechanic was fine, so that's okay.
We did hear Lewis come on and say, is he okay? And then I missed the reply.
Yeah. Max says that the Odyssey is absolutely tremendous. Maybe not as good as Oppenheimer, which is his best work, but that's probably because I know nothing about Greek mythology and had little interest in it. So, what?
Turn it into movie rants now. I'm sorry, Oppenheimer's the worst film that no one's ever made. It's awful.
I liked it. It just felt a bit long.
It's far too slow. It's far too long. I mean, I'm not against sex scenes in films, but the sex scenes in that were just arbitrary for the sake of having boobs in a film. And then the explosion was utter garbage. That is the worst nuke in a movie ever. Ever. I think I've said this. I think I've told you this before, Jonty, and others as well. I haven't been to the cinema since Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. So I might see if my sister wants to go see Spider-Man next week, because I haven't been to cinema for ages, and I'm getting really bored of waiting for things to come out on streaming, and I'm starting to reach my... I am middle-aged, but starting to reach my very middle-aged stage and be like, wow, I think I'm going to start owning things again. It's ridiculous that I can't own anything anymore, and back to physical media and going to the cinema again. So I might start doing that now. We realised we reached middle-aged yesterday because we sat through an episode of Casualty by accident. We're like, well, that's it then. It's over. So I've booked the nursing home now because we're not far off that. But yeah, I might see if... Yeah. I want to go see Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. Oh, no, sorry. I tell a lie. Oppenheimer's not his worst. That was Tenet.
Not seen it.
Incredible to look at. The most convoluted, ass-backwards plot you've ever heard in your life. It's awful to try and follow. And his best one is Dark Knight, of course.
Do you know, we'll get back to F1 in a sec. Do you know it was surprisingly good that I didn't think I'd enjoy, but I did? Project Hail Mary.
I haven't seen it.
That was a really good, fun film. And I cried over a rock.
I'm going to love that. Yeah, I know I'm going to love that because I love The Martian, but Andy Weir's books are incredible. So.
Yeah. That's it. Back to questions. Right. From chat. It's all movie talk now. If you're new, welcome. This is what we do. I've got my new defense all sorted now. Yeah. It's great. It doesn't say F1 Sean. It says Formula Sean.
Yeah, how about I get my Twitch channel get going again? You come on that. And that's what we do all this with. We just talk about whatever. Just people can come from the chat and just go, right, talk about this. Just have opinions. Just sit and waffle for 3 hours about absolutely anything that's not Formula 1.
I mean, we can do it on this channel so long as the lead is something motorsport related. But have you seen testing streams? We're watching testing live. 4 hours later, we finished debating yogurts. It's like, oh yeah, Alonso's crashed 4 hours ago. That's why it's called waffle, exactly. Or that's called a waffle. Baxter's fine, thank you, Craig. Yeah. He's downstairs again. He's grumpy today for some reason, but otherwise fine.
Yeah. Welcome to this motorsport stream. Right now, terrible movies. Let's talk about Free Jack featuring Emilio Estevez. Which
I
is
might go have a lie down and leave you to it.
70 seconds. It's motorsport for like the first minute, and that's it. It's so dumb. I do like it though because I like those dumb 80s movies. Anyway, what have we got left from the race? Something else happened?
Nothing. No. I'm waiting for chat to come in and give us some questions, but they're all talking movies now. We set them off and I keep scrolling back, but chat keeps jumping forward. Yeah.
It's your fault, Max.
Black Hawk so says, I don't know why with the modern tech in F1, why they can't put into the system if cars go over track limits and get a 1 second 30% engine power reduction, for example, would stop them going over. My concern there is if you've got a car goes wide and it drops off by that for a second and the car is behind and you could have a big accident there potentially. So it happens it used to happen on video games in the old days. You'd go on the grass and you'd basically stop. Still does, but now you've got doing that in the real world, I think, is inviting danger. I wouldn't mind the old MotoGP penalty lap rather than 5 second penalties that are investigated 42 hours after the race finishing. It'd be good to just get them sorted and do a quick penalty lap. But that's about it. Let's not get into that because then you've got to try and work out where they go on tracks, haven't you? But I think that it's just a safety thing really, but I understand why people look at that and think we could do that, but look, Black Hawk so as thing is the power reduction is already there in clipping, so
Yeah.
You could have a separate flashing light that comes on, or even like a countdown. Like a flashing light comes on, flashes 5 times, and then the power cuts out, and then the car behind at least has time to react, maybe. I don't know, but maybe a conversation for the summer or in the winter or whatever. But yeah. That just... we have an infringement for an unsafe release. Here we go, as Fabrizio Romano would say. Jonty's not going to be happy. The competitor, Scuderia Ferrari HP, is fined €30,000, of which €10,000 is suspended for 12 months on condition a competitor does not commit a similar infringement in the meantime, and on the further condition that within 14 days the competitor submits a report to the FIA regarding the incident and protocols introduced to mitigate the risk of such an incident occurring in future. So the decision itself, team explained the incident occurred in the context of a complex and unusual combination of circumstances. Say that when you're pissed. Hamilton had been issued a 5-second time penalty for a driving infringement, which had to be served before work could commence on the F1 car. As opposed to what the F2 car. Leclerc was in his pit box at the point Hamilton entered the pit lane. Hamilton told his engineer that he wanted a front wing adjustment, but that was not conveyed to the super controller. I want to meet him, he sounds cool. Hamilton came into his pit box, served the time penalty, and at the end of the 5 seconds, one member of the team announced go, and then 0.6 degrees, the former being an instruction to commence the pit stop, and the latter being an instruction for a wing adjustment. The tyre change was completed. The jackman dropped the F1 car, and the super controller activated the green light signal for car 44 to move off. Just as the driver moved, another mechanic with a front wing tool moved forward into the path of the front right tyre. Before he stepped forward, he had his head down, looking at the tool, and did not see the green light. The team, the team acknowledged that the car, for car 44 to have been released in these circumstances was unsafe, and attributed the error to an inappropriately late instruction for the wing adjustment. So the team were wrong. A lack of clear communication and the mechanic's failure to notice the green light. The team committed to undertaking a review of their pit stop procedures. Stewards determined that the driver was in no respect at fault, which was obvious. Indeed, the driver raised what had occurred as soon as he commenced to move off and immediately stopped until the mechanic was clear. Far from resulting in a sporting advantage, the incident brought about a sporting disadvantage for Hamilton, which was delayed in its pit stop. In the circumstances, the incident did not justify a sporting penalty, but did justify a significant fine. I'm going to read that bit again very quickly, and then I'm going to say something before Jonty comes in and starts shouting. Far from resulting in a sporting advantage, the incident brought about a sporting disadvantage for Hamilton, which was delayed in his pit stop. So was Piastri's not a sporting disadvantage when Leclerc damaged his car? Anyway, I'm partially joking there, but that's basically that's a long-winded way of saying they got a fine. But I thought I'd read the whole thing there. But that was what a read. That was yeah.
I've just seen the best comment on it.
Go on then.
Just someone reposting Chris Medland's tweet about Ferrari's fine €30,000. Alex Pitts just posted saying the FIA gala can now afford a karaoke machine.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we suspected a fine, didn't we?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you... I was rambling on there with that. I don't know. I understood it really, but I said the words that are written down here, and make of it what you will. But I understand their reasoning by saying that he didn't gain an advantage. If anything, he actually got a disadvantage because he was stuck there for longer and didn't get the wing change he needed. That's kind of irrelevant. Sorry. Rules are rules, and they have these specific things. They don't get you to just decide that, we'll give him a fine instead of a penalty because he didn't gain an advantage. That's what it is. It is what it is. Good or bad, for good or for ill. That's how it works. The same. It's the same, similar kind of thing with these full stops.
the amount of times we've seen drive again, it was Lewis last time out, but it's been multiple other people where, yes, they've gone early, but they've then come to a complete stop. So they haven't gained any advantage whatsoever, and in almost every case, it's a disadvantage because they're then a fraction of a second behind everyone and have a terrible start. So they've already penalised themselves. You know what I mean? In those kind of situations, it should be just, don't bother. They've already screwed themselves. Why punish it further? Which is what they're aiming at here. But when it's so calculated, it feels a bit off.
Well, yeah, because I mean, none of it's Hamilton's fault. So from a driver's perspective, I think you could probably argue that's fair because he did nothing wrong, but that's not how sport works when you're part of a team. But it's a genuine miscommunication and mistake by Ferrari. The guy doing the front wing went too late. So
by the sound of it, from what I was reading in that, what you read out, it sounds like the super controller, which I'm guessing is the person who presses button to go green,
lollipop replacement,
didn't actually know a front wing adjustment was going to be made. That's how it reads to me. That radio on the pit wall and into the mechanics, like Lewis wants front wing change, 0.6 degrees. So they were all getting ready for that, and another person on the pit wall was just, right, there's a pit stop. Okay, tyres done, go. And he didn't know the wing was going to be done. Or maybe the wing's meant to be done while it's up in the air. I wouldn't have thought so, because they go down it with sort of like a T-shaped Allen key into a set place. So it would have unbalanced the car during the pit stop. I don't know, but it just sounds like a very Ferrari pit stop, which they haven't done for ages. To be fair, they've really got that nailed. Maybe a Kick Sauber pit stop from last year.
I like to think that while I have my favourites, I'm fairly balanced compared to some people who have their favourites. I don't do the whole fanboy thing, but I'm just trying to work out in my head if this had gone, if McLaren had got this fine for that incident, how would I feel versus Ferrari? I'm just trying to think in my head, and I don't think I'd be that annoyed by it, because although €30,000, 10,000 suspended, so 10,000 is a lot of money to us. It's not really to Ferrari, but it is still a good chunk of money. It's a big fine in the context of F1, isn't it? And what the fines, you get like €100 fine for speeding in the pit lane or whatever, don't you? So it's quite a hefty fine. So it feels like if you're punishing a team, that's fair. What I don't like is I don't know. Some penalties I quite like being investigated after the race, but some I don't. And this maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I think. Do you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say it is what it is and finish that by saying, well, of course it is what it is, because it can't be what it isn't. But it's kind of one of those that it is what it is. It's not really... I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I really don't. All I'm going to say is that I remember these documents being much shorter than this. Penalty. Why? Because we said so.
I think that is a general issue with the FIA at the moment. Race direction, race stewards. It's like they're trying to make it as clear as possible and explain every last little detail to stop arguments from teams and all the rest of it. And all they do is make it so unnecessarily convoluted that it reads like near nonsense.
There was one, was it 2 weeks ago or was it Austria? One of the races, there was a penalty came after us that me and Stuart covered, and it almost tied itself in knots with what it was trying to explain. And you can't, I can't remember what was that? Oh, damn chat. I can't remember. It was I'm just going to have a very quick, then we're going to wrap it up from here. But yeah, we'll take a few more get your quick fire questions in. Go on.
Was it 5 years ago?
What?
What are you trying to think of?
It was like, I was thinking it might have been last week or week before.
Right. Okay.
It was something about, I can't remember now. It doesn't
matter.
Was it with
It might have been with the yellow in Austria qualifying. That was pretty long.
It might have been. It was something we read that was just like, you're just tying yourself in
for
knots.
something so simple.
Yeah.
Because they were going on and on about when it had been deployed as yellow and not yellow, and single and double, and
it was the Hamilton double yellows at Silverstone where he didn't get the penalty because he came across it quite late. But the way they explained it, they kind of said he's wrong. He shouldn't have done that. He's bad. However, also it's okay, but then also it's not okay, and that's why we haven't given him a penalty. And you're like, but you've just given me the reason why he should get a penalty. Then you've defended that. Then you've tied yourself up again, and then you've just keep it simple. We have given a penalty because we don't. From a legal point of view, the teams need it, but from a public document like that, just put penalty because we said so. Maybe not quite that simple, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with the Hamilton double yellow, and there was someone else who had a similar double yellow incident, not Austria, I think it was possibly Barcelona. There was a very similar thing to the Hamilton one where it's like, yes, usually a driver would get a penalty for this, but it happened 50 yards in front of them and not even a Jedi can react in that time. So no, they're not getting one. That's all you need to say.
Thank you to Illogical, by the way, for reminding me on that one. Thank you as well to Golf Balls, said pit stop should be a minimum 5 seconds plus penalties. I was actually going to say thank you again, mate, and thank you for your incredible support as always, but tonight as well, or this afternoon. I was going to say, we are talking about this. You read that document, it takes you longer to read the decision than it does for the pit stop to take. So we are talking about decisions and things that are happening in the case of 2 seconds. It sounds like all this, these things happen. So yeah. I did just do. I have ended the poll ever so slightly early. Get your quick fire questions in, and I'm going to ask you a personal question. Sean's dinner tonight ? I'm going to let you guys decide because we are a community here. Tikka, I'm going to spell it wrong. Tikka masala, whatever, or sausage and mash. You could. Well, it's me and my partner, but you can. You could decide, chat, on that one.
Depends on the sausage.
Well,
depends on the sausage.
It was supposed to be a Lincolnshire sausage, but it's in Cumberland.
What? Isn't that like grounds to start a war where you're from?
Yes. In fact, the Tesco delivery man is actually buried in the garden. Fact. It's not a fact. Thank you for your votes in the poll, by the way. Rate the Belgian Grand Prix. 47% said good. 39% said okay, 8 said great, 6 said bad. I don't agree with great and bad. I would have said okay, but I could see why there were some good points in there to call it a good race. So I tend to agree with that one. But yeah, quick fire questions if there are any. If not, we'll wrap it up. That read almost like shitty emails from your boss 10 minutes before 5 p.m. nowadays, says Max. Wouldn't know. I got sacked. I am my own boss. I don't send myself emails because that would be sad. Although I might start doing it. Since when do the consequences of a breach of rules matter to the penalty, says Bylus. Just look at the camera, raise an eyebrow. A Black Hawk so says the super controller is what used to be the lollipop man, is the head mechanic with the override button for the traffic light or someone else. Thank you very much, mate. But I've got to say, that's a great name for a job, isn't it? What's your job? I'm a super controller. I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Maybe that's the inclusive name. Maybe that's just the inclusive name for who used to run the railway in Thomas the Tank Engine.
He'll always be the fat controller. He'll always be the fat controller. He's probably called Mr. Jones or something now, isn't he? I don't know. But will Alonso win another race before he retires? ? And why not? Says Max.
He will. It might not be in F1.
Yeah, Nick's just said that, yes, but not in F1. Yeah. I can't see
Ask
Aston.
again next week.
Yeah. If they lock out the front row, I'm staying live all bloody weekend. I don't care. That would be what a turnaround. That'd be quite a story, but I suspect they'll gain a little bit, but maybe. I mean, like we said the other day, even 2.5 seconds, that sounds like a lot of time, but when you're 5 seconds on the last lap off the pace of other people, not really going to do much, is it? So... Is it Sir Top?
I'll say it now.
Sir Topham Hat? That sounds worse than the Fat
Oh,
Controller.
yeah, that's
that sounds
stupidest,
disgusting.
mate. Yes. Yeah, that's right. Ridiculous. I knew it was something daft. I couldn't remember what it was.
Will we ever see Hockenheim and Nürburgring back with both Merc and Audi on the grid?
No.
I'd like to. I can't see it. Yeah.
Which of the two?
Nürburgring Grand Prix layout, I think. If
Yeah, I'm the
Hockenheim was
same.
still the old Hockenheim, I'd want that for the nostalgia and the... Although, actually, no. For this year's rules, my God, no.
You sure? With these power units?
No, maybe not. But no, I'd probably go Nürburgring Grand Prix layout. I think that the first sector's good, but I love the first corner. But I really like the middle sector. Yeah, that's fun. Where we saw the Alonso Massa stuff
diving.
that year. Yeah.
Just the way it dips around that first corner is awesome. Yeah, I would take that too.
Looking forward to Portimao and Istanbul Park being back next year. Is Istanbul back next year? I think it is.
But going back to the original point, what I will say, if Aston get into Q3 next week, or even high up in Q2, then I'll say Alonso, then they will win a race by the end of next year.
Yeah. There you go. To get into Q2, that would be quite a jump in time, so I can see why you'd say that, yeah.
Yeah. If they get into Q3, then it's podium this year.
What?
It won't happen.
Okay, here's a question for us to sort of end on. I'm sure we can sit here forever talking, but if this new update package doesn't do much, if anything, for Aston, what does that mean for Adrian Newey's future? Because any other engineer would be out on their arse.
Yeah.
Would they stick with him? I mean, he's a shareholder in the team, though, isn't he? So that's the problem, I suppose. But
yeah.
Or is that the point where they call Mr. H, Mr. Horner?
But how much is he actually having to do with the F1 car? Because he's always off doing all these various of the hypercar projects. And they're still doing new hypercars now, even though they've got the Valkyrie. They're actively racing in IMSA and WEC. There's still another secret thing they're working on, whether it's a race hypercar or just a success. What is it? I can't even remember what it was called. But it's another one coming after the Valkyrie. Another one that starts with V. They've got to be running out of words soon, or at least cool ones. Can't have the Aston Martin vacuum, can you? It needs to sound cool, at least.
Call it Henry. Black Hawk so does say, I would love to have seen the Aston car with the Mercedes engine to see if the problem is Honda or the car. That's a very, that would have been a great comparison. My gut, which is often wrong, tells me it's a bit of both. I think compromises have been made on both sides, but not necessarily the right compromises. I think it's a mix of both, but it's pretty depressing for Aston. Jonty's got something before we finish. Hang on. Don't go anywhere. It'll be good.
No, wait.
I think I said it won't be.
No, because the Cran Stations just said, have you seen the Batmobile thing going around Portimao? That I can only think that means the McMurtry Spearling. It looks like a Batmobile. And if that's been going around Portimao, if they're starting to do proper laps of tracks, then I am all over that, because it's like one of my favourite cars that's ever existed. It's stupid. Do you know that one?
No.
It's got the record of the Goodwood Hill climb.
Okay.
It's a tiny little thing that genuinely looks like a Batmobile with a fan, all electric. Something like equivalent to about 650 horsepower and generates 2 tons of downforce at 0 miles an hour.
I'll go and have a look for that.
It just sticks. It could do a lap of Monza and only brake twice. Chicanes. It wouldn't even have to brake for Lesmos. It would be insane. I'll send you a link in a bit.
Do you want some quotes to end on?
And again, sorry, Cran Station, I'm just assuming that's the car you're on about.
Toto Wolff has said George had a difficult weekend. Probably half of it is to be attributed to the power unit that wasn't as good as it should have been on his side, and the other side maybe on the driving. Max Verstappen on that first lap overtake says, I went through Eau Rouge, looked at my battery status and thought, well, that's going to be a difficult run to Lacombe. And Oscar Piastri said, I lost like the sideboard thing. Okay, maybe I shouldn't call it a sideboard. That's something you put in your hallway. There you go. In a more serious point, I was just scrolling through socials there. Audi have got their press release out. They say... where's Nico Hulkenberg? A lot of fighting in the midfield today. Paid the price for starting too far back and also losing a few positions. The encouraging part is our race pace was competitive and we were right in the mix throughout. Virtual safety car gained us some time, but it probably needed to last just a little bit longer. Instead, I came out right behind Gasly and Lawson. Got caught up in that battle. Bortolesso said, I'm extremely happy with today's result, naturally. I think we maximised everything we had this weekend, and that's down to an incredible effort from the whole team. To achieve this in front of our team members from our bases in Hinwai, I can never say it, Bicester, I can say that, and Nürburg, I think, or Neuburg, makes it even more special. And there was one other that I just spotted that came in. It is Williams. I just the teams we said nothing on. It's worth reading these. Flip my phone so we can actually see it. Alex Albon said, frustrating day today. We had a good start and you begin to think you keep up with the midfield, but our pace dropped away. Had a super clean weekend and had strong pace up until qualifying. Made some changes that impacted the race today. Sainz says it was a race of two halves today. We had to start P19 after a penalty due to the ESME and got some damage to the front wing in the first lap when everyone bunched up in turn one. That's the Ocon incident, isn't it? He ran into the back of him. Changing front wing cost us time. Car was in a much better place with a new wing. Had good pace until the end of the race, overtaking some rivals and closing the gap to the cars ahead. Extracted everything for the weekend, the usual PR stuff that comes after that. But we'll leave it there, Jonty, for today. Thank you so much for your company. I was
just reading through things.
That's all right. Appreciate your company, as always. But have you spotted something you want to bring up before we wrap up?
No. An issue I wasn't aware of with Albon that someone had said in chat about the lights weren't... The light wasn't working on his car.
Oh.
The team has a reprimand, thankfully.
Okay, fair enough.
Not him himself.
Yes.
It's the team's fault, obviously.
Golf Ball says, Science, it was a race of two halves, the bad half and the worst half. There you go. Yeah, thank you very much, Jonty. As always, mate, it's been a pleasure. I'll let you go get on with your evening. I'm sure we'll talk soon. But Hungary next, and then somehow it's the summer break already. But enjoy the summer break, everyone, when it comes, because you've got up to 12 races in about 16 weeks. So it could be chaotic, or we might lose two and the other one might not get rescheduled and we end up with nothing. But yeah, anyway, pleasure as always, mate, and thank you for the waffle.
Yeah, in a perfect world, trouble carries on without anyone getting hurt, and it means that we get Interlagos as the finale. That's the perfect result.
You'd also need the troubles to break out in Vegas as well for that.
Crap, yeah. I wouldn't be averse to that.
Jonty's declaring war on Vegas. There you go. Going to put his special president hat on.
Yeah. But yeah, more sport for the day. We have the World Cup final and we have IndyCar at Nashville.
Yes. Go on, Spain. I'll talk to you soon, Jonty, mate.
See you later, chat.
Enjoy your evening.
See you later, Sean.
Cheers. Bye. Yes, thank you very much to Jonty and to everybody else for tuning in as well. Pleasure as always. Great to have you along for the ride. Now, let's go to the end screen. Oh, hang on. No. We're having tikka masala for tea. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate that one. I'll head off to the end screen now. That is it then for today. Now, I will be back on Wednesday with the Hungarian Grand Prix preview, and of course, we'll be live for the qualifying watch-along on Saturday, possibly live for the race warm-up on Sunday, and then, of course, live for the race reaction shortly after the Grand Prix finishes. Obviously, like I say, on Sunday. We'll try and keep it less waffly, but I think you enjoy the waffle, so that's okay. I'm sure you'll forgive us for it. We enjoy a good chat about F1. Please do drop a like on the stream and subscribe if you are new. And just a reminder, Lots of content next week. A few bits during the summer break, and then we are full-time from the race in Zandvoort, the Zandvoort race week. So looking forward to that. Let's see if we can grow this over the rest of the year and make it viable for next year, because I would like to be back for the first race of the season and testing and all of that, but we'll see what happens. So thank you again to everyone for your super chats. Thanks to Golf Balls for your gifted subs as well, and I'll update this scrolling names thing at the end for next weekend. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Formula Sean, and until next time, goodbye.